Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Friday night. It's our favorite show of the week.
We got Ariel with us.
Yeah. I love that wig actually. I kind of want to try that on and see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit too big for her, and there's no way to tighten it.
Oh, we'll see. Now most wigs have the elastic underneath that you clasp like underneath.
Yeah. That was a cheap wig. It was like $4.
So, well, I mean, if I wore it, I would have to, like, clamp it on with, like, barrettes or something. Because otherwise... Yeah. Hey, now here's the thing. Brother Zachary just put Honky Paradise. Yeah, and he put Honky in there.
Yeah, and it wouldn't spell it.
And it wouldn't do it. And I said, maybe they consider that a racial slur.
Yeah.
So he spelled it with an IE, and then it went through. But he went, so maybe not. He said
weird.
It. That was pretty weird. But hey, everybody. CB is asking about The Exorcist Believer. I just noticed that it was on one of our streaming services. It's on Prime or Max or something like that we have. And I'm kind of curious to see it, but it's like, you know, I'm ambivalent about seeing it. It might be okay, but you know what I mean.
So many Exorcist movies.
Yeah, and really only the first one was... Well, the first one and the third one were any good. So.
Well, they're kind of definitive. Can't do much more than that.
That's what I mean.
I still wanted to see the vampire movie about the vampire little ballerina girl.
Oh, yeah. I kind of want to see that, too.
That'd been cool. I don't think I'd pay to see it, though.
I'm sure it'll probably be on streaming soon
I'd pay to stream
enough.
it, but I wouldn't, you know.
Yeah, it'll be on streaming soon enough, probably.
Yeah, we saw Dune 2 last night.
Yeah, we watched that again. It was on HBO Max.
It's on HBO Max. It's great. Yeah, it was better the second time.
Because we saw it in the theater.
Saw it in the theater, yeah. Mm. It was kind of better to watch it with captions. Because you couldn't really hear everything that was happening. You couldn't understand everything that was being said. Like, you know, when they're going in and out of the dream phases, there's things that, you know, the universe says. You know?
Well, see, that's why I always kind of like... I like seeing movies in theaters, but I always like... If I really liked it, I like to rewatch it at home, because then I can watch it with the closed captioning. Because I miss a lot of stuff, because my hearing isn't that good. Kenny says, at last I catch a live stream from the beginning. Congratulations on the 15K subs. Thank you very much. Yeah, we just broke 15,000 subs a few days ago.
She got a notification. We don't know if we're going to get a plaque. You probably don't get a plaque anymore.
Yeah, do they do plaques anymore? I don't really know. It's just that was the first time. I think that was the first time that I ever got like the little notification like in the YouTube dashboard. It's like, hey, go you know.
I think they gave plaques a long time ago at 20,000, I think.
I mean, that would make more sense to me.
Or 25,000, something like that.
I mean, 15,000 is cool, but it doesn't seem like... I don't know why I didn't get a message at 10,000. Not that I remember anyway. But then you get one at 15,000? That seems a little strange. I don't know. I don't know.
So, it's the beginning of the weekend. It's Friday.
Fuck yeah.
We're not going out tonight. We're going to go out tomorrow.
Yeah. Saturday night's always better.
So, we're just going to usher you in to your weekend. Chill out with y'all while we're drinking. If you guys have anything in the in your personal bar, now be the time to fucking break that out. Or if you're listening to this fucking recorded and you're just gonna go to sleep, then just fucking keep your earbuds in and just fucking get yourself all fucking cozied up in the bed, just drift off to sleep. That's what I do. That's what I do when I'm listening to podcasts.
Listen to our pleasant voices as you.
Drifting off into sleep. A lot of people listen to us to go to sleep, which I understand it. I put on interesting shit and it puts me to sleep.
See, I can't listen to anything. It keeps me awake.
Yeah.
It keeps me awake. I like listening to stuff while I'm working.
More interesting
like
it is.
Scary stories and stuff, but I can't listen to stuff while I'm trying to sleep because it'll just keep me awake.
The more interesting it is, the faster it'll put me to sleep. Because I was thinking about it and I get lost in my thought, and then next thing you know, I'm dreaming.
Right. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I listen to science programs. I listen to Event Horizon a lot. When he has scientists on there talking about Dyson spheres or the Fermi paradox. Yeah, that'll put me to sleep. But I love it. You know, I'll listen to the same show over and over again.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Although usually, like I said, I like to listen to those big, long, like 3-4 hour compilations of scary stories. Yeah. But sometimes there's so many stories in there that I don't really remember all of them.
No, he's got a channel of compilations. He'll have like 6 hours of Fermi paradox talks, you know, like guests on his shows,
right?
And have them all chopped up and fucking, it's good. It's good. And then in the background, he'll have like space music going.
Yeah, I've
Like
heard
it
it
wants
before.
space.
It is very relaxing.
Yeah.
I will give it that.
Yeah.
Zach says, when I was writing the backstory for that Rockstar character, because remember we were talking about that before, I read up on some Janis Joplin. Do you think she would make a good show topic? She probably would, honestly. I don't even think we've talked about her on any of our, because we've done a couple of, like, mysteries of rock and roll type shows.
See, the thing is on this show, what tends to do the best is murder, and paranormal, and fucking gross shit. Okay? If you do something about Janis Joplin, or you do something, if you were to do Janis Joplin, it wouldn't get that many hits. What would be better is to have her included with a bunch of other rock stars.
That's what I would do, probably.
Some kind of a fucking...
Like a theme.
Like a theme, like, you know, rock stars that had occult interests, that type of deal.
Or ones that died too young, or whatever.
Died too young,
like I said.
Who had weird sexual things going on. That's another one. That'd be good. You'd have to have like a theme, and she'd have to be part of it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking along those lines.
Yeah,
actually.
like there's a lot of shit about
I love Janis Joplin.
About
actually.
rock stars, both male and female. You wouldn't think of. Who is that girl from Jefferson Airplane, the singer?
Who? Grace Slick.
Grace Slick. Yeah, they say Grace Slick was just the biggest hoe ever. The largest hoe that has ever existed was Grace Slick, evidently.
Really?
Yeah, like 3 or 4 dudes a night. When she was on.
That's some stamina.
Yeah. When she was like on tour.
I'm kind of in awe.
Yeah, that was like she evidently was just she liked to fucking get gangbanged.
Well, see, but the thing about it is that, like, you know, dudes would do that and everybody would be like, all right, but it's like, you know, a chick doesn't, and it's like, she's a hoe.
Yeah,
that's nice. There's still
evidently she fucking liked to get tag teamed and shit.
Hey, no judgment.
And she drank a lot. She'd get fucking drunk and after a show, fucking party and have 4 or 5 dudes jump all over her and shit.
Well, now I'm gonna have to look that up.
She'd be in the middle. Yeah, that was. I don't know if it's true. You know what I mean?
Might have been just somebody that didn't like her all that much and just made.
But I heard evidently she was pretty bad.
But like I said, even if that was true,
yeah.
So
that's what she liked.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No judgment. She's an adult. Everybody else was adults, I'm assuming.
That was the rock star era too.
Right, and it's just kind of like, so I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, nobody had a problem when dudes did it. Why do they suddenly freak out when a woman does it?
I wasn't freaking out.
No, you weren't. But I'm just saying that.
Out. It was just.
I had never heard that, but like I said, I don't know a lot about her.
My understanding, Janis was more into girls. That was how I understood it.
And
girls and whiskey. She just would drink herself down into a bottle and
girls and whiskey.
That's
That sounds like a Tom Waits album.
Yeah. I don't know that for sure either. It's just that was just what I had picked up by reading about rock stars on the periphery, that she was more into girls than guys, which that might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CB said the more Tom drinks, the more the doll comes into play. Yeah, we'll see how that
how
goes.
does the doll come into play when I get to where's this?
Well, we'll see.
Her?
Yeah. No, the other doll that's in there.
Yeah, this one.
Hey, I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I am not an animal.
They're fucking. They're curious.
Well, wait a minute.
They're
I was trying to answer a question.
What was the question?
Well, what?
So you can read it.
Well, thank you.
So you can read it.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Lil Johnny Land said, yes, Jenny, your voice and cadence is identical to my best friend's who lives states away, so it's always such a comfort. Really? Now I'm kind of curious to meet this person, and now we can like talk together and be like, we talk exactly the same.
Yep.
For real, at first when he was adjusting the doll back there in the chair, like I thought she didn't have any pants on. I was like, did she not have any pants on?
And she got those slut shoes on.
Yeah, he bought her a pair of slut shoes.
Yeah, size 5.
Yeah,
I
couldn't cram my feet are small, but I couldn't cram them in there. I have a pair just like those, like very very similar to those, but they're 7s, I think, and they're still kind of painful to be honest. Like I kind of have to cram my little toe in there.
I'm gonna get you a pair like those though, because they have easier. The buckles are fake. It's a clasp, like on the back
I don't know
of a
why
bra.
they don't do more shoes like that.
Yeah.
That's like so much easier because my shoes that I have like that have a regular buckle on and they're a pain in the ass to get on.
Yeah.
But those ones are, and actually, but they have like better shit now because some of the goth shoes that I have, like the Mary Janes and stuff, they have like just fucking Velcro, but it looks like a buckle on the outside, and I'm like,
shoes I just bought you. This is them right there, right?
Yeah, it should be, I think.
Where'd they go? No, they're not here.
Oh, I probably put them in the dressing room then.
Yeah, let's show them.
With a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Ba-ba-ba. It's like, Zach says, I like Janice's music, but whenever I look at a pic of her, it looks like everything itched. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Talking about, somebody asked about the DeFeo case. Said they already did a show on the DeFeo case. Did we? I know we did a show about the Amityville horror, like about the haunting, but did we talk? We probably talked about the DeFeo case on that show, but I don't know if we did a whole entire dedicated show.
Show them that.
Yeah, see? These are like super cool. Little
I bought her those.
Little bone shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're super cute. I haven't worn them yet because I just got them. Like
yeah, the first pair I got for the doll.
And then they were so cute. Also has, so we could be twinsies.
Yeah, they were so cute. I says, man, I'm gonna get some of those for Jen too.
Because I need bigger sizes.
They're matte color though.
The ones for hers are like
patent leather.
Like patent leather or shiny. They're not real leather, I don't think, but they're shiny.
Well, patent leather isn't real.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, but it's just shiny. Yeah. CB said Tom's had a lot of drinks before the stream. I think he didn't. Nope. He didn't. It's what's funny is when we were at the club on Sunday night. Yeah, we went last Sunday night because it was Memento Mori. I was talking to somebody that didn't know Tom that well, and I said, I think that a lot of people that just maybe know him from the club, like think that he's just acting like that because he's drunk, or he's just like that because he's drunk. I'm like, no, he's like that all the time. He's really not that much different when he's drunk than when he's sober. He's a little bit crazier when he's drunk, but that's about it. I mean, it's not really that big of a difference. It's really not.
No, I goof around a lot. Goof around a lot, joke around a lot, and it's not the alcohol.
No, not at all.
That's the way I always am.
That's just, he's like that all the time, 24/7.
I'll say crazy shit.
People don't believe me, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. You maybe, I don't even know.
I'll say fucking crazy shit out loud when nobody's around.
I know, I can hear you down the hall.
I'll see some shit and I'll be like, you motherfucker. I'll react to something,
I know, sometimes I hear him down the hall because he's like watching something on TV or something like in the bedroom and I'm in the office and I'll hear him go, pow, pow, pow.
I'm shooting back.
Or some shit like that.
I'm shooting back.
Or clapping his hands together real loud.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is he doing in there?
Watching the gunfights.
He's watching the gunfights.
Yeah, I fucking love a channel called, I'll get into it. Kind of reminds me of the stories of my granddad when he died of a heart attack watching the fucking fist fights on television.
Well, see, now
I'm hoping that don't happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you fucking keel over on me.
Yeah. There's this channel I love called Police Activity, and it's all fucking cop body cams and them getting into gunfights and shit. It's better than even the military shit. The military stuff isn't as exciting because there's more range involved. They're not as close up, and there's no words said between the combatants, so you don't have an idea of fucking who did what or there's not really any bad guys involved when soldiers are killing each other. They're both good guys pretty much, on both sides. You just have some old men fucking telling you to kill that dude over there. But no, I fucking love watching the fucking cops get into it. And then sometimes the cops are in the wrong about some of the shit, too. And then I'll start laughing.
Who would have thought?
No, I saw one cop just shoot a dude just because he moved.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he got in trouble for that one.
But, well, rightfully so.
Yeah.
You can't just go around fucking shooting people.
There was one where fucking they pull a dude out of a car and fucking guy's got his fucking cops fucking got a gun pointed right at him. It's a Hispanic, it's a black cop with a fucking gun, Hispanic dude on the ground out in L.A. And he's going, I didn't know, I wasn't driving, I wasn't the driver. And he goes, get up! And the dude jumped up and he shot him, pow! He meant shut up. But he said, get up. The dude got up and he shot him. Like, and the other cop was with the dude. He said, dude, you told him to get up. He lived, though. He lived.
Shit, man.
And he was active duty military. He was a Marine.
Yikes.
The dude that he shot. Says, I wasn't driving.
Did he fucking sue? I hope so.
Oh, I'm sure. Shot him right in the back.
God damn.
Shot him right in the back. He was laying on the ground. He couldn't be shot him. Pow! It was an accident.
So excitable.
He meant to say shut up. He said get up. And fucking that was a Marine. Fucking he immediately fucking followed orders. Get up. That's something a drill sergeant would say to you. Get up.
Sure.
You got him. Boom. Shot him.
Yeah, it's like,
And the other cop said, you told him to get up. And the guy was kind of confused.
Well, at least the other cop was just like, hey, you said that.
Yeah.
Dumbass. That was your fault. At least the guy lived. That would have sucked if he
he lived.
Killed. But still, I mean, was he okay? He wasn't paralyzed or anything, was he?
Oh, he just hit the fucking dirt. Boom. Oh, fucking rolling around.
Yeah,
Shot
I
him through
guess
the back.
so. Holy shit.
Right to the lungs.
Ah.
Yeah.
God damn it. That's horrible.
Yeah.
See, I don't like it. I don't like it.
There's another one that had fucking black dude in the shadows. Fucking, he was running from him. And I didn't understand this one at all. Fucking cops, one of the cops says, come on out of there. He had him trapped. He was in a carport. Says, come on out of there. And the dude fucking came out with his hands up. As soon as the dude stepped in the light, dude shot him. Pow. Yeah.
He's like, my hands are up.
Yeah, one of the other cops says, what'd you shoot him for? What'd you shoot him for?
I wonder.
And that kind of, the video fucking shut down after that.
Yeah,
there's the investigation, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would be.
They're not, but you know, most of the shit that they show, it's just cut and dried. You know, dude killed fucking 5 people and he's on the run.
Well,
and
right,
fucking,
that's different. It's, you know what I mean? But it's just kind of like,
yeah,
they're, you know.
Dude killed 5 people. Killed his girlfriend and his baby mama and his baby, and then the neighbor and the mom, and then fucking doubles back later. He doubles back to his house and sees that the damn news camera's there, so he kills the news crew. And dude was 18. Dude was 18. And then then tries to surrender to the cops after that. Then, you know what I mean? Then he comes out trying to surrender. The cops fucked him up. And one of the cops in the background says, why don't they just let us kill him? We'll take him out back and kill him. And that's what they're talking about. I felt the same way. Killed his baby mama and his baby. Her mom. Yeah. And then the news crew. They thought he left. He came back.
Zach says, have y'all ever seen that Bette Midler movie, The Rose? I did, but it was a long time ago. It's basically about Janis Joplin's life, and it's partly set in Florida. Yeah, I remember it being good, but I saw it like so long ago.
I never was really interested too much in Janis Joplin.
Oh, I like her.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought she was kind of mediocre.
Nah, she's good.
Music I thought was kind of mediocre.
Nah, she's kick-ass. I like her.
Okay.
Phantom says, Tom, you should totally try the Monster energy drink Rio Punch.
I haven't had that
Brazilian inspired.
Yeah.
Do we have that around here? I've never seen it.
I could get anything.
Of course, I don't look at energy drinks because I don't.
If I see it, I'll
energy
get it.
drinks.
What color is it?
Yeah, Tom's like, what color is it?
What color is
it? He usually gets the white one or the blue one, right?
Yeah, I like that. The Monster low carb, the fucking big black one with the fucking light blue M on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now they have.
Sometimes I have to go in the store and get it.
Yeah, they have like the 0 calorie one that's like white and silver. That's all right too. But I actually like the low carb one.
I don't know. They all taste like gross. They all taste like sweet tarts to me.
Yeah, sweet tarts. That one tastes like fucking.
That have been like left in a hot car or something.
No, don't listen to her. That's just fucking good. It tastes like.
That's my perception. Taste is subjective. You know that, right?
The Monster
He's a heavy size of me.
Monster low carb kind of tastes like Guaraná, like Brazilian Guaraná, which is a fucking their version of kind of like root beer, but it's not like root beer. It's more like Sprite, but it's got a strange kind of flavor to it. It's a root that they have down there. It's got a little berry that grows on a root, and they had a couple of brands of it. The main one was like Itai. That was the name of that brand, fucking Guaraná. And the other one was Antarctica Guaraná. Most people said Antarctica was better, but I liked Tai. But that's kind of the way Monster low carb tastes, kind of. I've given you Guaraná. You can get it here.
Yeah, you can get it.
Yeah.
CB says, Jenny, you are way more sexy than the doll. Thank you very much. At least I can move around and stuff.
I've seen her have sex with a doll. It was awesome.
Well, like I said, we had to try it out.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah. We're going to videotape that shit.
Well, yeah, like I said, we had to try it out and see what the logistics.
Jen put the strap on herself and fucking took advantage of that doll. Fucked it up. She liked it.
Well, I wanted to see what it was like.
Yeah.
Well, because you were doing it, and I was just kind of.
You passed it off to me.
And then I was like,
It doesn't compare to the real thing, really.
That's what he said. He's just kind of like, it's nice, but it's not really.
It's not really a real thing.
It's not like a real one.
If you're given a choice, you're going to go for the real thing.
Because I was curious as to what you would think about it.
But I can understand, fucking, if you're a single guy and you're fucking watching porn and shit and going on the big screen, and you have this thing here with you fucking jump on that, have fun with it.
Yeah, it's like, it's not.
It's just a sex toy.
It's fun. I had fun with it. You had fun with it. We had fun with it. Like I said,
it'll make a good video.
Is she blushing back there? Probably.
No,
I'm just kidding. Zach says, by the way, the cootie doctor. Remember, he had to go to the cootie doctor for the
one damn STDs you gave
for the STDs. Yeah. Gave me some pills to deal with the. I love how the autocorrect says chlamydia, but it's chlamydia. So autocorrect said chlamydia, so it doesn't want to say chlamydia. Damn. So I ought to be clean by Thursday. Well, that's good news. That's good news.
He's just over here fucking bragging about his fucking sexual exploits.
This is a safe space, Tom. It's like we can all talk about. We can talk about chlamydia. We can talk about having sex with sex dolls.
Yeah.
We can talk about all of that stuff. This is, again, a safe... No, as long as you're not coming in, like, saying some, like, really fucked up shit. But other than that, we're just, like, no judgment. This is no judgment zone. Yeah, we got... Actually, Tom went to the store yesterday or the day before and got some sodas, like, for the mixer for the rum that we had left over. And he got some of that. He got two liters. It looked like 3 of the spiced.
Oh, this time I got
Coke.
2. I got 2 of the spiced, and 1 of the regular.
I do not like it.
I like the spiced.
Well, I don't really like Coke all that much. Anyway, this is rum and this is cherry Coke.
Yeah, cherry Coke's good.
Which is actually pretty good. I'm not a big soda drinker, like I said, but the spiced one is weird. To me, it tastes it smells just like a raspberry Jello shot.
No, that's what it is. It's raspberry.
Exactly what it smells like.
It's supposed to be spiced. It's Coca-Cola. It's Coca-Cola raspberry and a little bit of spice, but not much spice. Mostly just raspberry. I don't know what spice they're talking about.
Yeah, raspberry is not a spice. Coke.
No, they must be talking about cinnamon. It might have a slight cinnamon flavor to it.
Maybe. I just had a sip of it. It does have kind of like a little bit of spice to it, but the overwhelming flavor was like raspberry flavor. And it smells like that too. Like I said, it took me right back to Mannequins, like with Heather, the bartender, like giving people Jello shots. I was like, that smells just like raspberry Jello. Yeah. Is exactly what it smells like.
I liked it. As soon as I opened it, smelled it, I was like, well, that smells pretty good. And took a belt to that and go, yeah, it's pretty good. I like that. I've never had it before. It's been around for a couple years now, I think. Maybe a year.
I think it's fairly new. Yeah. But because I remember hearing about it, but that could have been,
I liked it.
Like I said, like a year ago. But like I said, I'm not a huge cola fan anyway. So.
I like vanilla Coke.
Yeah, the vanilla one's not bad.
I haven't had that in a while. I don't know if they.
I like the cherry flavored ones. Yeah. It's honestly, if I'm gonna drink soda, I usually drink the clear ones like Sprite or ginger ale or something like that. Yeah. Or I like root beer.
What's Zach talking about the bathhouse?
Oh, it said
there's all kinds of fucking comments in there. You're falling behind, Jen.
It's well, yeah, I know because I can't talk over you. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're just talking about the Brazilian stuff. Oh, and Phantom said it's Brazilian colors, and I got it at Dollar General. Okay, so maybe we'll have a look for that energy drink like he was talking about.
Brazilian colors?
Yeah, the Brazilian energy drink.
So you're talking
like the
about
Brazilian flag, I'm guessing?
Green and gold. Mm. Yeah. Green and yellow. And blue.
Yeah. And Zach says, who'd have thunk a bathhouse wouldn't give you the cooties, but eating a furry's ass would. See, you never know. You never know. That's all.
Nasty motherfucker.
That's all we know. What kind of furry were they? Like, were they a fox or a wolf or a cat or? I'm kind of curious. What? Camp Guy said, I've been making the New York City deli coleslaw and cucumber salads. Ooh, cucumber salad.
Man, I got coleslaw downstairs.
You still have coleslaw?
Yeah, we should finish that up. I only put a.
Do we have any potato salad left?
Got a whole. Yep.
We had all that potato salad down there and you didn't tell me?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it.
Well, we were eating Indian food and stuff.
Oh, that's
We should
true.
eat it before it finishes up. I was putting coleslaw on ham sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
I like it as a topping in a sandwich. It's real good. But if you've got
I'm not a big fan of coleslaw.
If you got toasted bread, it's good. If the bread's toasted on there, like for instance, like if you have pastrami and cheese, and fucking coleslaw on top of it instead of
yeah, I can see that
instead of sauerkraut.
Right.
You know, it's good.
I would probably because I would probably like it better than if it was sauerkraut because I'm not a huge fan of sauerkraut.
It's already got mayo in it.
I mean, I'll eat sauerkraut, but I'm just kind of like, I'm pretty ambivalent about it because we make German food every now and then.
Yeah.
But we haven't made any in a while. But yeah, so he says you brine the cabbage and the onion cucumber overnight in vinegar and sugar with a little bit of salt. So the guy on YouTube said he worked in 4 different New York delis, and this is how they did it in all 4 places. That sounds kind of good, actually. The cucumber salad more than the coleslaw, like I said, because I'm not a big fan of coleslaw. Yeah, Tom has been making Indian food out of the new cookbook that he got.
Yeah.
It's an Instant Pot
cookbook.
Indian food cookbook.
Yeah.
And everything how many have you made out of there? Like
2
3,
dishes.
2 or 3?
I made tikka masala and then I made korma.
Both very good.
Yeah.
The korma was different than korma that I've gotten in restaurants before, but it was still like really good.
I used the exact spice recipe given in the cookbook.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. Then the next time I made it, I used a pre-made garam masala because I could see the mixture they were talking about, telling me make. So that's basically garam masala, which is a spice blend. But that spice blend's family, man. Every family has their own different version of garam masala.
Yeah, with different ratios.
There's no standardized garam masala, okay? So I said, well, I'm going to use this pre-made garam masala I had. And it was close to the different, but still good, close to the other one. It's kind of like making chili. Nobody's chili is quite the same. It's family recipes. And the other one was garam masala. And I kind of fucked it up because I had a whole bunch of dried curry leaves. And I said, I'm going to use these curry leaves in there. And fucking the curry leaves they're too old. They were just bitter. They didn't have that almondy flavor. So I pulled most of them out. They weren't bad. They just didn't do what curry leaves are supposed to do.
Yeah, how long have we had those?
Oh man, I had the curry leaves at least a year. More than a year,
I was going to say. Because I don't think we haven't been to the Indian store that sold the curry leaves.
Well, they're fucking dried when you buy them.
Yeah.
And then I was keeping them in a big old 1-gallon Ziploc bag. So I figured they'd still be about the same. They kind of lost all their flavor, though.
I didn't mind them.
Yeah.
But they didn't, well, like you said, they didn't have a real...
They didn't have that
strong,
almondy, nutty flavor.
Yeah, they didn't have a real strong flavor. I really like when we go to Memories of India, and they do the shrimp masala, and that has curry leaves in it. And those are always really good. They always give it like a really good flavor. But we used to go, the Indian market we used to go to, sometimes they'd have the fresh curry leaves. Yeah. But you couldn't always get them. It just depended on the day.
The best part about the cookbook so far, and I haven't really done the recipes, is that I'm looking and it's got a shit ton of like lentil recipes and vegetarian recipes. And I got a lot of dried lentils and stuff and beans down there. And pressure cooking them in an Instant Pot is the easiest way. Now I got to get this basket that goes inside the pressure cooker in the Instant Pot so you can put dried basmati rice in it. So it does your rice for you all at once.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what I got to get. And that makes the whole process a lot easier. And the rice comes out spiced because the fucking steam and the pressure of the cooking fucking meal is now in the rice. It's supposed to be great. So I got to get that actually going.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach is answering my question about what kind of furry it was. Said some kind of vaguely dog-looking character, it seemed like. That's what his pick on Grindr was anyway. So a dog-ish, wolfish type of thing. All right.
Did you even know the dog's name? Or the dude's name?
Was he a good boy?
Or was it just a random hookup? Just random?
Oh, before I
That's what I was trying to explain to you people. Okay?
Uh-oh.
Homosexuality is dangerous because there aren't any women involved. Fucking women are the fucking kind of like the moderators of this shit. Like, oh no, that ain't gonna go. You put a bunch of dudes.
Like, would you stop it?
Yeah, no, we're not going there. That's fucking crazy. You put a bunch of fucking horny dudes together, they're gonna do all kinds of fucking shit. You know, fucking. They gotta have female supervision to keep them in charge. I mean,
That's right. Dudes need ladies to like kind of keep them.
Fucking Toby told me about it because you don't know how perverted these motherfuckers are, man.
Oh, I believe it.
Fucking, and they're getting rough and shit, So, all right. And I was thinking about, there's no women in there to tell these motherfuckers no.
To tell them to knock it off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like, what the fuck are you people doing?
Yeah.
Please stop it.
Yeah.
Let's just not do that. All right.
Just unbridled fucking male sexuality. It should go too far, man. Look what happened to Zach. He got burned. Hooking up these random furries. Licking ass.
That's what happens. You get chlamydia.
Licking ass to some dude fucking dressed up in a dog costume.
But it is funny that you like go to the bathhouse all the time and didn't get anything. So it is ironic that just like one person. But like I said, all it takes is one person. Hey guys.
Oh, bathhouse Zachary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bathhouse Zachary.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Go to the Korean bathhouse. Tell me if it's different.
What fly? Yeah, fly all the way to Korea.
They got some because they got Korea saunas. Some of these cities do.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they got a hot room and a cold room and fucking water. But I don't know if it's gay. Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, call them and ask.
Call them and ask. Is this a gay? Is this?
I'm sure that'll go down really well.
Is this got a bunch of gays in here?
Asking for a friend.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why I love this show. It's so fun. No, I was gonna say before I got too much farther and too much drunker, which I'm not that drunk yet. I'm still on my first drink. I wanted to give a shout out. I don't know if she's listening, but a listener named Jill sent me a PayPal donation earlier today and said how much that she enjoyed the show.
Thank you very much.
So
Jill.
Thank you very much, Jill. That was very, very nice of you. We love when that happens. We love money. I like money. Do you like money?
Yeah, I love money. You like money?
Yeah, you like money.
Yeah. That's weird. You like money.
Yeah, CB said, dudes, if left to it, will fuck it up and do it again. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Zach says, Tom, you've been around the block, I'm sure, but if you've seen the things I've seen at Club Indie. Yeah. I mean, you've been around, but you don't really spend a lot of time in gay bathhouses, I would imagine.
No. None at all.
Really?
No, none at all. I can understand. I can picture it though.
Really?
I can fucking picture it because I know club scenes real well and fucking I got.
I mean, we've been to gay bars together,
yeah.
but I don't think you've ever been to ones like.
That's a bar though. That's not a fucking bathhouse.
Yeah, it's different.
Different situation. They weren't really bars. They were nightclubs.
Yeah.
Fucking biggest one was fucking the one that had the fucking theater in it and everything.
Southern Nights.
Southern Nights was gay as fuck.
As the night was called.
Here in Florida.
Because they did a fetish night like once a month.
Yeah, they did a fetish night. And the fetish night was also like the goth night. And it was wild. It was... Yeah, it was goth though. It wasn't gay, but you know, you had all the bartenders were gay. Fucking everybody that worked there was gay.
Well, it was a gay bar. Southern Nights is a gay bar.
Yeah. Sometimes gay guys would be in there, fucking going, "What the fuck is this all about?" You know. But goths are kind of their own fucking thing. You know what I mean? You never can really tell what's gonna happen. But and then we'd have like porn girls guest starring in there. Remember in the VIP area, there were always porn girls. I didn't recognize them though. But that was nowhere near as wild as it would get as if it was a fucking bunch of leather daddies.
No, of course not.
No, nowhere near. Yeah, leather daddies got to be kept under control.
Titanic Discussion says, "Can you folks put your PayPal link in the description, or is that not allowed?" I'm not sure. I could try, but let me see if it'll let me. PayPal link is. Whoops. Oh, thank you very much, Jeffy Art. Look at how we just say we like money.
Damn. Yeah, we like money.
Money comes in. We love money. We love money. Okay, let me see if that works. Okay, but that's my PayPal thing. But yeah, thank you very much, Jeffy Art. That's very, very nice of you. Said, as someone who used to work security at a leather bar, I can say Tom is right. Gay dudes be crazy.
Yeah.
LOL. Also, at the risk of sounding self-indulgent, I turned 45 on Monday. Thanks for the great start to my birthday weekend. Thank you so much.
45.
And
Still young, man. Still young.
Happy birthday.
You're 10 years younger than me. You're just a baby.
I'm sure he likes hearing that.
Yeah, you're just a baby.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
It starts going by faster and faster. But, you know.
Don't let that discourage you.
Don't let it discourage you. Get in the gym. Fucking get on test. Do a bunch of gear. Fuck it. Go out in a fucking blaze of glory. You'll live longer. If you don't care as much, you'll live longer. All those cowardly motherfuckers that are afraid to get on gear and it might do something to me, and then they all wither up and die.
It's like, well, that's also doing.
That's
Time is also doing
something
something to you.
Not doing something is also doing something to you. Yeah.
You might want to
You might want to fucking
be a little more proactive.
Yeah, read some books. You know what I mean? Actually look at dudes who do this shit to see how long they actually live. You know, fucking Jacques LaLanne lived to like 97, and he looked good up until it was about his 90s. But shit, it was 90.
Yeah.
He was 90.
I mean, you gotta die sometime, but
yeah.
And sometimes you get unlucky. There's just
yeah. And fucking Jack. I think Jack did a little test, and I think he did Anavar, which kind of constitutes HRT.
Jeff Yard says, "Still a baby. Tell that to my joints." Haha.
Okay, well, do Nandrolone. That'll fucking your joints will get a lot better on that.
I mean, my knees have always been fucked up too, but they've been fucked up since my 20s. So.
Yeah, not as bad as they were though.
It's about the same. It's about the same.
MPP is a drier.
It was from soccer.
MPP is a drier version of Nandrolone.
Yeah.
Put you on Deca, which is regular Nandrolone. That's well known to hydrate joints. The thing is, it hydrates all the rest of you. You hold a lot of water. It's dose dependent, though, and depending on your genetics. There's no cookie cutter way to do any of this. You got to get in there and figure it out. Here's the thing. I know I got guys in here listening to their gym bros or old guys on HRT and young guys. It's best to understand the conventional teachings of gym bros and what all those compounds do. But that's just the convention. It actually doesn't work out that way, you know, because genetics are also involved in who you are, your age. The older you are in general, the more tolerant your body's going to be to all that stuff, because you don't have an endocrine system that's real young that's going to try to fight and counteract all these hormones you're going to inject into yourself. I inject shit into myself and there's no reaction. Like, my system isn't strong enough to produce a bunch of estrogen and shit to try to counteract all the testosterone that's going in there, so it just goes along with it. I do shit that a young guy couldn't do. If you're young, your system is fucking not really meant to be monkeyed with. It's better to fuck with this shit when you're old. 35 plus. 40, around that time. Your body can tolerate a lot more. And the results are better. And that's just based on everything that I'm seeing and everything that I've done to myself. But understanding the conventional stuff, there's a lot of channels you can listen to that'll tell you about every one of those compounds, and that's just the conventional. In my opinion, based on what I've done them all. They're all about the same, except some of them make you hold more water than others. The only one that was markedly different was Tren. Tren will make you crazy. Everything else is easy. Don't fuck with Tren. It's not worth it. I was on Tren for 6 months.
Needed to be repeated.
And I became a fucking werewolf. It'll make you crazy as shit. It'll make you dangerous, and I was lucky I didn't end up in prison.
Yes, you are.
All right. And really, it didn't give me anything any of the other compounds would have given me. Like, I could have done the same thing with Nandrolone, and physically, in terms of physical development. It may not be that way on a younger guy, but in an older guy, they're all about the same.
CB said, I can recommend going to a fetish bar. It is liberating the first time you go to one. Yeah, they're super fun. And like I said, no one's going to make you do anything you don't want to do or anything like that. I mean, the fetish community is generally at least in my experience, very open-minded, very accepting.
Me and Jen basically grew up going to those things. It's the same as a goth club. They usually happen in the same place, just different night.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover. So it's just kind of like,
yeah,
we weren't ever really...
From our 20s, we were going to those things.
Yeah. Camp Guy said, my cardiologist told me to take vitamin B1, thiamine, and folic acid because they help with heavy drinkers of alcohol. Maybe I should start taking that.
How old are you?
Camp Guy's older than we are.
Okay, look. This is just...
If I remember correctly.
Just off the top, just take testosterone. Inject testosterone. Any man over the fucking 35 should be bumping test. you will see a marked improvement in your life. You can now, with the miracle technology, can get it pretty cheap over the internet. Some of the shit you can do it through a doctor over the internet, but they want about $200 a month. That's a good way to go, because sometimes they actually will do the blood work and it'll make you feel better. You know that you have fucking the real test, so you know what it's going to feel like. And then maybe you'll do that. You'll spend the $200 a month for maybe a year or so, 6 months, and you'll learn the ropes, and then you'll get your confidence up. You go, hey, you know what? The other dealers, the international brokers, can get that from other countries, and it's over-the-counter shit. It's just over-the-counter in other countries. I can get that for fucking $100, and it's a fucking 3-month supply. It's a lot cheaper. So you inject that, and you go, yeah, that's the same thing. It's even better. And then you can start getting involved in other things. You know what I mean? Fucking, I wouldn't worry about any of the oral pill steroids. Just go to nandrolone, which is like Deca or NPP. Or you don't even really need to worry about Dianabol. It's about like test. Just do the test. Dianabol will make your face swell up. Made my face swell up like a fucking moon pie. The one that I like is nandrolones. I think for me, those are the dollar for dollar. That was the way to go. Test and nandrolone.
Yeah, Camp Guy is 62.
62. You need to be on test.
He says I can't take tests.
Why not?
Because I have elevated PSA levels and an enlarged prostate.
No. That prostate is all fucking bullshit. Matter of fact, some dudes have taken tests and the prostate swelling went down. And that's what happened to me. I had some symptoms of prostate enlargement. And I started fucking banging up tests, and that shit's gone. Don't listen to doctors. Doctors, they're robots. They're just repeating what the drug industry, the drug corporations that own them are telling them to say. The reason why they don't give older dudes tests is because the patents have run out on it a long time ago. So they want to give you some kind of patented medicine, like, you know, dick pills or fucking, and they want you to be on fucking, what do you call it, shit, diabetes medicine, and they make a lot of money on that. Just inject test. It's just like false teeth. Your teeth fall out, you put false teeth in. Your hormones fall out, just put false hormones in there. Testosterone. It's a synthetic version of testosterone cypionate. It's a fucking synthetic version of it. You bounce back quick, man. You'll be at 60, and all of a sudden, fucking 2 years from now, you'll be like 15 years younger. Yeah. Just your skin quality, your sex drive, your motivation, your mental acuity. You just get a lot better. But don't worry about the heart. All that shit about heart, elevated heart problem. This is all bullshit. I fucking do my fucking blood pressure all the time. Doing fucking steroids didn't increase my blood pressure. Matter of fact, it decreased it because I lost a lot of fat. The reason why blood pressure goes up in very heavy weight bodybuilders is because they're massive. Those dudes are fucking huge. They weigh 220 pounds and it's damn pure muscle. The heart wasn't really designed to support a fucking body that big, and it's not fat, it's muscle, man. It's fucking got all kinds of fucking blood vessels and shit running through it. So that heart beats, man. It has to be very strong to supply that body. Now the heart will get bigger because it's getting stronger. The problem is that the heart can get stronger, but the valves can't. And there's one of those aortas there where it can kind of wear out. That's the one that actually supplies to the body. But doctors don't know much about enlarged heart. They don't know the difference between an enlarged heart in a fucking athlete and an enlarged heart in a fat boy. A fat man's enlarged heart is a different situation. It's a lot different. A bodybuilder's heart who's kind of enlarged, it's enlarged because it's a muscle and it's gotten fucking bigger. The fat boy's enlarged heart is a weaker heart, and they tend not to live. What happens with a dude that's a heavyweight bodybuilder is that the valves in the heart, one of the aortal valves starts to wear out. They can put a fake one in there. But here's the deal. The only dudes that have that problem are fucking huge. And the chances of you getting that big in the amount of time that you have left in your 60s, you're fucking tripping. You'll never get to 230 pounds, 230 pounds plus of pure muscle, 5% body fat. You know, that's something only a young guy could do. So it's just so funny, you know. People think that they get on some test or the gear and they're going to get huge. I don't want to get too big, like these girls. I don't want to get too big. It's fucking hilarious. To get big, you got to fucking work out and eat a lot and take a lot of gear. And it takes time. Years and years and years. It's not something that just happens over fucking night, you know. But people have this fucking weird concept that, damn, you inject just one injection and that motherfucker would be bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. No. Arnold was fucking taking shit since he was about 16 or 17. By the time he was 18, he was huge. You know? And he was a young dude going through puberty when all that shit was happening to him. Older people don't react that way. Okay, Jed's back.
All right. Zach says, still trips me out. I'm 3 years away from being 30. Holy crap.
Oh, and then he thinks he's an
You
old
are
man.
so
You're a
young.
fucking baby.
And as we speak, there are teens getting their licenses who were born the year the original iPhone came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, but, you know, time marches on, as it does. But, yeah, you're so young still. I thought I was old, too, when I turned 30. Little did I know. Like I said, I didn't really figure my shit out until I was probably like 38 or something. Until I was almost 40 years old. And, well, that's debatable, because I don't even know if I figured my shit out now. And I'm in my 50s, so. Phantom says, I just got the English 2015 werewolf movie Howl on Blu-ray. I'll be watching that after this. That's a good flick, actually. That's the one on the train, right? Yeah, I liked that one. Did we review that? I kind of feel like we did. I remember watching it, but I don't remember if we reviewed it or not. We probably did. Yeah, that's right. The guy from Dog Soldiers was in it. I've been wanting to do... I don't know. I've been wanting to do like another movie review. I didn't really have any time this week because I was going to start doing more Night Gallery episodes for my Scare Salon channel, but I didn't have any time this week to do it because I had too much freelance work to do, so I didn't have time to sit down and watch any Night Gallery, unfortunately. But I might do another book review. I did start reading a novel today that I'm almost done with, so I might review that. It's kind of like a gothic haunted house murder story kind of thing. And let me see. Yeah, American Military 100 said I had high PSA levels, so my testosterone provider made me get a letter of approval from my primary care doc.
What did you say?
Well, you should have read it.
I wasn't here.
No, I mean, it's been up since before I went to the bathroom.
I was talking. I can't read that shit. I don't have my glasses. What do you say? Who is this?
American Military 100.
What do you say?
Said I had high PSA levels, so my testosterone provider made me get a letter of approval from my primary care doc.
Yeah, that's why I don't fuck with any of them doctors.
Well,
I would only go to a doctor if I was injured and I needed some kind of surgery or you had cancer. Other than that, if you look at the general practitioners, the people that are fucking the general practitioners who are dealing with people, they're dealing with they're dealing with fucking older people, and they're dealing with older people that have been sedentary. They're not physical. So they see everyone as being old, sick, weak, and dying, and basically with bad nutrition, and because that's all they deal with, and their whole science is focused towards that. A lot of the things that they believe in are kind of like pseudosciences, based upon studies that were backed by drug companies that want certain results, so they can sell certain patented medicines. I wouldn't throw everything out, but I have to throw out everything according to me. They're usually dealing with guys who are my age, are very overweight. They have fucking high blood pressure problems, bad nutrition, borderline diabetes. Like you said, they fucking enlarged prostate. They have a lot of problems on them. So they coddle them, basically, and sell them a bunch of medicines, and they die. That's what they do. A lot of the thing is, though, is you can get out of that situation. If you start injecting tests, small amounts of it, smaller amounts than me, say, you'll start losing weight. And then you go out there and you start training a little bit because you've lost some weight. And then it starts the ball rolling where you start leaning out, okay? And getting stronger and more muscle mass on you. And all of a sudden you start feeling better. And then once you're in better shape, you can take more testosterone and more steroids and you'll even grow. So you're growing yourself back. It's not something you can just do to some dude who's weak and he's super fucking over 100 pounds overweight. You know, you can't give that guy a bunch of steroids. He'll be very aggressive and he'll run himself right into a heart attack. It's a slow process if you're weak. But a lot of the problems with aging is hormone starvation. That's the source of it. But they don't want you to know that. This is why rich people, really rich people, do not go to doctors. They have their own boutique caregivers that treat them on their compounds. Look at Jeff Bezos. That motherfucker's one of the richest motherfuckers in the world, and he's jacked. And you look at his wife. His wife's in her 50s, and she fucking looks like a hot 30-year-old. She's a fitness trainer, and they're on gear. All right? You think Jeff Bezos is fucking stupid? Hell no. He's very smart. He knows the medical industry's mostly quacks, and it's about selling drugs. They make profit off you if you're sick and dying and fat and have diabetes and fucking... That's where their bread and butter. They don't want to cure any of that shit.
Yeah, Phantom says he's not seeing it. I could have sworn we reviewed that, though, because I remember, like, us watching it. Hugo says, have you done a review on Benicio del Toro's Wolfman? I haven't, but honestly, I've been wanting to do that. I saw that in the theater when it first came out, whenever that was. And I remember really liking it, but then I was thinking about rewatching it because I saw it come up on one of our streaming services. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember liking that. But then like all the reviews of it are like really negative. So I don't know. But I remember it being pretty good. But like I said, I haven't seen it since it came out. I saw it once in the theater and that was the last time that I saw it. CB said the only time I went to the doctor is when I hurt my dick and pissed blood for a week. Okay, well, what's the story behind that? How'd that happen? Honestly, like I, even if I wanted to go to a doctor, I don't have any money or any insurance, so I just kind of have to hope for the best, to be honest. But like, luckily for me, I don't usually get all that sick.
Phantom called it. He says, "Don't trust doctors, lawyers, or mechanics." Yeah, exactly. I'm a mechanic. I can deal with my mechanics, and when I find a good mechanic, we look eye to eye. Like I found one the other day working on this car to fucking put that pump in for me. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for a mechanic to fuck you. But
yeah, if they think that you don't know,
they think you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then obviously they're going to. A lot of people have complained about that. Larry and Creature also said I turned 30 a few weeks ago. Jeez, babies in here, babies. I could be your mom. Not to be weird or anything. Yeah, the Wolfman movie, it wasn't actually considered part of that Dark Universe thing they were starting to do because that came out like kind of before they had any codified ideas about that. But that was another dumb thing about the whole Dark Universe idea is that by the time they came out with like the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, I'm like, you guys already did the Wolfman. Like, when did that come out? 2015 or whenever it was? It's like you guys already did that. You already did like a couple of other movies that would have been in line with like the Universal thing, and now suddenly you're doing this. It's like it just seemed like really weird. CB said I jack off when drunk and I grabbed it way too hard. I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess you did grab it way too hard.
Phantom's good. Phantom was, yeah, but Bezos' wives aren't married for love either. Yeah, but you know what? Look, I gotta give fucking Bezos some credit. Bezos could have been a typical billionaire and just sat there and just been a fat fucking slug and hire fucking escorts and shit. They're like tens, physical tens, to come and just fucking treat him like a god and shit, coddle his ass. All right, at least he fucking didn't want to put those women through that shit. It fucking he became fit, you know, and attractive for his age. So you know that's saying something for a billionaire because he doesn't have to do that. At least he had a little bit of ego. I could never live with myself if I was a billionaire and I just looked like shit and I says, man, I'm going to fucking just hire these fucking hotties to come and just blow me all day long. Matter of fact, I'm just going to get fucking fat and sweaty and shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna look like fucking Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah, to look like Baron Harkonnen and make these bitches wipe my fucking ass and shit. I mean, that's how evil a dude that rich could become. All right. No, he's like, yeah, maybe I'm not the best looking dude in the world, but I'm the richest dude. All right. If I become fucking jacked and have a good figure or whatever, and fucking at least try, to look good, I'm not putting these escorts through fucking hell. You know what I mean? At least he's got some respect for himself. I don't know if I think it's his wife. She's not an escort, but yeah, she looks great. She looks great. When you have that much money and you look good, I think she fucking got on his ass probably about that, because she's I can just tell by the way she's built. She's a fitness instructor. She was probably like, "Honey, you need to get on this and that and this and that, and you'll live longer. And we'll live long." And he's got time.
And money. It's not like he's got to show up at a job or anything.
He's up there on that fucking mega yacht. It's probably got a fantastic gym in it. And it doesn't take that long, man. About an hour a week really makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it doesn't actually take that long.
It doesn't take that long. An hour a week makes a huge difference if you're on gear. If you're not on gear, it doesn't make that much difference. That's why it makes so much difference when you're a teenager. Because you're just producing that shit on your own. Teenagers respond real fast.
Yeah, how does it said like Harvey Weinstein? Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein, that nasty motherfucker, like Baron Harkonnen. Yeah, him just fucking grapping on and fucking salivating on all these little fucking 17, 18-year-old starlets and shit. Come on. He's just a fucking molester, And he did that to everybody. And that was one thing that fucking, what's his name? Brad Pitt. I got some respect for Brad Pitt because evidently he challenged Harvey Weinstein behind fucking Angelina. Says, you stay away from my fucking wife. That was fucking, you know what I mean? I think an average fucking Hollywood dude probably wouldn't have fucking challenged the dude. Because that's their source of income.
Sure.
What are these people going to do? They can't, if they lose their jobs, what are they going to do? They have all these fucking bills to pay, these fucking multi-million-dollar mansions. All right? What are they going to do? Work at a fucking...
Got to get a regular job.
Regular job? That's not what they do. They end up being fucking escorts and fucking call girls and shit. That's really what they end up doing. That's where a lot of them came from. So, yeah, fucking... I thought fucking Brad had fucking big dick, man. He had fucking big balls to go fucking tell that dude to stay away from my wife. Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew what a fucking gross ass motherfucker he was. So. I kind of feel like if you had... The thing about Brad Pitt, though, is that he probably has enough money and enough cachet.
He had fuck you money.
Yeah. I mean, if you have fuck you money, then you can, like, stand up and be like, I don't need your fucking work.
He also had fuck you fame.
That's what I was gonna say too. He had the cachet. Like everybody knows who Brad Pitt is.
Brangelina could have gone on fucking television.
They're not together
motherfucker,
anymore.
That motherfucker right there, fucking molested my wife. And people would have believed him. So.
Phantom said you're thinking of Gwyneth Paltrow. He did that for.
Was it Gwyneth Paltrow?
Really?
No, I thought it was fucking Angelina Jolie.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
That was what
I don't follow celebrity stuff.
That's what I thought.
Because I don't.
That was the story I heard.
Oh well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't follow that kind of stuff. Yeah, Leslie Roasted Howl is like Dracula Voyage of the Demeter, but with a train. Yeah, it is kind of similar now that you think about it. Now that you mention it. TB said if I was a billionaire, I would buy the NWA and make it like it was in the 80s. I don't know what I would do if I was a billionaire, and probably just kind of fucking retire and go into hiding and never deal with anybody ever again, because I wouldn't have to, which would be nice.
Cam guy just mentions Leonardo DiCaprio, Mel Gibson, and who?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. I don't know what he's talking about. But those are like some of the last of the movie stars.
Either that or people who also told Harvey Weinstein he was a scumbag.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think Tom Cruise would say anything like that. He's probably like afraid the Scientologists will come get him.
He didn't have anything to do with Scientology.
No, I know, but no, I meant that Tom Cruise would be afraid if he said anything out of line that Scientologists would take it out on him. I don't know. Camp Guy said, I heard Gibson made a ridiculous amount of money on Apocalypto. I don't really know because that's a great movie, but it's like, I don't know. Did that do really well at the box office? I don't even know.
I have no idea. I know that fucking Passion of the Christ did.
Well, yeah, I know that. It's funny, my sister went to, so, you know, me and my sister and all of my siblings were all fucking atheists. But I was like, I never was really interested in seeing it, but my sister went to see it. She's like, I was kind of curious. She's like, it's just like torture porn. It was like torture porn. But it was like, but all these Christians would go see it. Like, they wouldn't go see Saw or Hostel. She's like, but it was the same.
I saw little clips from it. It looked epic to me, so I can see why they probably would like it. Like it's like slow motion shots and shit, and you know, in their mind they're reenacting, they're imagining the suffering of the fucking crucifixion. You know what I mean?
It's just funny to me that they'll watch something like that, but then like if people watch horror movies, they think that's somehow bad. It's like there's no difference.
Well, they think it's holy.
Sure. Well, that's what I mean, but it's like that's a ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous distinction.
The Romans thought the same thing, though.
I know, but it's
the Romans thought the same thing. It was just a small Roman cult that got big over time.
Larry and Creature said my favorite horror movie on a train was Horror Express from 1972. That was a great one. I really liked that movie. There was also Terror Train, which was okay. It's kind of a slasher.
I liked it when I was a kid.
With Jamie Lee Curtis.
I liked
but Horror Express was really good, actually. That was it Hammer? I want to say it was Hammer.
What I liked about Terror Train when I was a kid is that I could watch the whole thing without closing my eyes. I thought I was the shit.
You're a big man back then.
Yeah, I could watch this whole thing without closing my eye.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't have any gore in it.
It really didn't. It's pretty mild by today's standards.
Yeah, by today's standards. By those standards back then, it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
But not really by today's standards.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I love 70s horror and 80s horror, but a lot of the movies back then that, you know, people talked about that had these, you know, reputations are, if you go back and watch them, they're really not that bad, you know?
Yeah, Camp Guy. It was The Passion you're thinking of. The Passion of the Christ is the one that fucking he made all the money on.
Yeah, I had forgotten.
He made like $1 gajillion on that shit.
Yeah, because all those church groups like went to see it.
He knew what he was doing. Mel's not stupid.
Well, yeah.
He's a Christian and fucking he's like, well, I'm gonna serve these Christian audience and make stuff that they'll go see. He got his own fan base. That was the right move. He'd already pissed off the Jews.
Well,
he'd been kicked out.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't kicked out. He's not Jewish, but you know.
No, he got kicked out. Don't you remember? He was his ex-wife, a girl. He was he was divorcing. Recorded a telephone conversation. Where he
that's
was
right.
Fucking pissed the fuck off.
Yeah, I don't really remember all of the details.
Talking about Jewish directors and shit. He's like the Jews. He went off on the Jews. Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah.
That's what
he was talking about boomers, though.
That's what it all sounds like to me.
Yeah, he was talking about.
Yeah, but the way they all kind of just fucking pissing and ranting and stuff like that, it's like it's so tiresome.
Yeah, I think he was talking about Harvey Weinstein.
Probably, but it's just kind of like that dude was just a scumbag. You know what I mean?
He's probably talking about Harvey.
They come in all colors and flavors, scumbags.
Well, there was a whole clique of them, you know. There was a whole clique of them in Hollywood. Hollywood was founded by him. Actually, all the studio heads. What was his name? MGM Studios. You know, you just look at the history of it. So, yeah, they were in there for a long time. I don't think there are as many of them as there used to be. But they founded it.
Yeah, but I mean, today it's just so fucking all over the place. You know what I mean?
I think it had more to do with China than anything else for a while.
CB said Halloween 2 from 1981 is my favorite horror film. I love the mask in this one. I read like Halloween 2 is like way better than it has any right to be, honestly. Oracle has arrived. Hey, how are you doing, Oracle? Guess what today is? She says today is our 28th wedding anniversary.
Oh man.
Happy anniversary.
Been married a long time.
That's a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Tom seems he's like, "Oh man, that sounds like such a long time."
Well, we've been together almost 15 years.
Well, yeah. We've known each other for When did I meet you?
No, we were buddies. We've been buddies.
I've
we've
met
been
you,
a
I
couple,
think...
We've been a couple for at least 12 years.
I met you, I think, in 2009.
Yeah.
Or 2010.
9 or 10, yeah.
And then we got together in 2011, like in the middle of 2011.
Yeah.
Something like that. So we've been together for 13 years.
Yeah.
But we just got married last year.
Yeah, but retroactively, it's like we've been married the whole time.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
We never were separated, really. We were always together.
Yeah, and I mean, we moved in together, like, probably less than a year after we got together.
7, 8 months, probably.
Yeah, I think it was something like... Because I think we got together in, like, July-ish of, like, 2011, and then I think we moved in together the following June. So almost a year. Yeah, he said he doesn't think that, Horror Express was a hammer. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a British film, but I was thinking maybe it was Amicus. Was it Amicus? I know they made some movies that weren't anthologies, but I didn't think that Horror Express was one. Now I have to look it up.
CB, they were just talking about Gibson. Just some of the comedians were just talking about him a couple days back, or saying like that it was time to fucking let Gibson back into the fold because he's made so many fucking good movies. Hollywood needs to just fucking let him be a part of the Hollywood scene because he might fucking revitalize it. He makes fucking good movies, man. Gibson's a very good director. Very good. And he's got his own fan base.
Yeah, everybody's like talking, like everybody's wishing Oracle happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Zach says, speaking of movies, I just found out Sam Mendes is going to direct 4 separate movies about all 4 Beatles. Holy shit, I cannot imagine that undertaking. Honestly, that kind of sounds like a cool idea, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how they come out, but I have a soft spot for like musical biopics, to be honest with you. I liked the Elvis one that came out that had the dude that was in Dune in it. That was the same dude, right?
What's it?
The dude that played Fade Rotha in the new Dune movie. Wasn't that the same guy that played Elvis in the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie?
I don't know.
Pretty sure that was the same dude.
He'd be unrecognizable, you know what I mean? His hair is shaved. He didn't have
and
eyebrows.
he's in that new motorcycle gang movie with Tom Hardy, too.
Yeah.
That's coming out.
Yeah, which there's some...
I kind of want to see that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see it, too. But the weird thing about these motorcycle movies... This is probably gonna be a good movie, but
it looks good.
You know, fucking Tom Hardy's one of my favorite actors. It's about the which gang is it?
Oh shit! Now I can't remember.
The Mongols.
No, it was Chicago that it happened.
Forgot which.
And it was in the '60s, like mid-'60s.
They would just do that same kind of shit with the Hells Angels. They got dudes in their 50s fucking playing those roles. Those dudes were all in their 20s and 30s usually when they were starting those gags. They were a lot younger than that. Older guys don't tend not to run around on motorcycles and fucking raise so much hell and fucking get drunk and kill people and steal money, and it's usually something the younger guys do.
That's a young man's game, murder.
Was it? Yeah. Now they stayed doing that for a long time, but usually when it starts when they're in their 20s. I can't remember what the name, which motorcycle gang it's about though.
I think it said in the trailer, but now I can't remember either.
It's not Hell's Angels.
No, it's not.
And it's not.
It was on the back of their jackets.
Yeah.
In the trailer, but like I said, I can't remember
which one it was.
But it's based on a true story.
Yeah. It's funny how we got to have an English guy come in here and fucking do all these American roles. And he just does them better than a fucking American actor.
Sorry, that's just how it works. That's just how it works.
Tom Hardy, man, he's not just back arch game. Okay, he's not just back arch.
I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
he's fucking awesome.
He's a cool dude. I like him.
Well, and he always
he's gonna make him an honorary American. I'm gonna make him honorarily Southern too.
I'm sure he'll be edified.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say he's actually from Mississippi. Yeah, he's from Mississippi.
Well, he always like picks like really interesting roles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right, Outlaws. It's about the Outlaws.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. I knew it was like a big gang, but I couldn't remember the name. All I could think of was warlocks. I'm like, no, they're still around.
No, they're here.
Yeah, we have them here.
They've been around for a long time.
They've been around for a long time, yeah. Larry and Creature's trying to come up with their favorite 5 horror movies. See, if you've been watching my videos over on Scaresalon, I've been doing a series where I've been picking my 5 favorite horror movies from every year since I was born, and I'm up into like the early 80s now. And it's really hard, but it's like if I had to pick, because I've thought to myself, one of these days I should do a video of like my top 100 horror movies or top 50 or something like that. And I tried to make a list one time and I couldn't do it. It was too hard. It was just too hard because there's just too many subgenres. There's just too many that I like, and I'm just like, well, you know, is this movie like objectively better than this movie? Like I can put it higher up. They're 2 completely different movies, and I was just having such a hard time and it was stressing me out. So if I had to pick my top 5 horror movies, like if somebody had held a gun to my head or something like that, I don't know if I could do it. Because it just changes out all the time. I mean, I'm sure like some that like easy ones like The Shining would be in there. Because I've seen that movie. I never get tired of that movie, literally. You could say right now, let's watch The Shining. Okay. I've seen it probably like 1,000,000 times.
Shining's like a ritual.
And every time I watch it, I find like a new facet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is crazy. And The Thing would be in there. But it's like, other than that, like the other 3 just like move around. Oh, and The Haunting from 1963. I love that fucking movie. And I've seen that a bunch of times too. But yeah, so let me see. Yeah, it's about the Outlaws. That's right.
Yeah.
But they were talking about the Beatles early on too. Yeah, the guy that played yeah, Tammy said it's the same guy. His name's Austin Butler, the guy that played Elvis, and he played Fade Rotha in the Dune movies.
The Baron, the Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Baron must have meant Baron Jr., right?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Baron Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the one in waiting. I guess.
The one that's coming.
Like after the main Baron dies. American Military 100 said you guys must see In a Violent Nature. Yeah, everybody's talking about that.
Is that new?
It's a slasher, yeah. But it's a slasher, but it's from the POV of the killer.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's saying it has revitalized the slasher genre. Nothing groundbreaking, but excellently done. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about that, and I really do want to see it. Now, I have heard some buzz, too, that people thought it was, like, really disturbing or really disgusting or whatever, which just makes me want to see it more. But we'll see. That might just be hype. We'll see. Because sometimes people are like... You know how, when Terrifier 2 came out, and everybody's like, oh my god, it's the most gory movie ever? And it's like, I watched that, I was like, it's pretty gory, but... I don't know, it didn't really bother me that much. It didn't bother me that much. Gore does not bother me. You know what I mean? Like, you can cut people up all day long and there's, like, just fountains of blood and stuff. And for some reason in a movie, that does not bother me. Shit that bothers me is more like Human Centipede type stuff. Like, I can't watch that. That's gross. But it's just kind of like gore, cutting off limbs, all like that does not bother me in the slightest. Not at all. Camp Guy said, I like the Beatles because I can sing along to just about anything they did. But I like The Who for the sheer ballsy rock musicality. Yeah, I grew up listening to the Beatles. My dad was a huge Beatles fan. And when I was little, my parents bought me a little keyboard. I don't know if it was Casio, but it was like a little keyboard. And the first song I learned to play on that keyboard was either Michelle or Obla Di Obla Da. I probably still remember how to play it, honestly, because I did it so much. But I had like a little Beatles songbook too, and like I learned all of the stuff in there. And I had all the records. Like my dad had the records, and I bought my own copies. And I fucking loved the Beatles. I still do, actually. So I know all of the songs. I had all of their albums. But the Who are great too. My dad didn't like the Who as much for some reason. Super into the Beatles. My dad was real into like Southern rock too. I kind of feel like, which I didn't like as much. But the Beatles were like his favorite. Yeah, I'm getting like way behind. Tammy has recommended this movie before because I know I wrote it down. Hardy plays a great moonshiner in Lawless.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we need to see that.
Yeah.
We need to see that. We can't do it for the review this week because we have to do Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Because Xanada sent it to us.
Yeah. If you guys send us a Blu-ray, we will review that Blu-ray and we'll give you a shout out. Usually the following week. We had to do
we did Furiosa this week because we went to the theater.
Yeah, we had to go to the theater. We had to do that first, but we're going to do we're gonna do Django this Monday.
Interestingly, I think they bring up phrenology in Django Unchained.
Yeah, probably.
There's like that's kind of part of like a little bit of the plot, and we just did a show about phrenology a couple days ago. Little Johnny Land says, and Tom Hardy picking great roles while also being insanely sexy doesn't really hurt. I mean, it never does.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned he was in the Craze movie. He was great in the Craze. Yeah, the Legend.
Yeah,
Legend.
Legend.
He's real good in that. He played 2 roles in that.
Yeah, he played the Cray twins.
Yeah. That was a great movie. I really liked him in Bronson. Bronson was a fucking...
We just rewatched that a couple weeks back. What a great fucking movie
It's a great movie and kind of disturbing and depressing in a certain way.
It's so
and
weird.
Fucking crazy, and it's very much kind of like something out of Clockwork Orange. It has a very Clockwork Orange kind of tone to it,
Kind
to
of
me.
vibe,
you know? Yeah, fucking, that's a masterpiece. He's fucking good, man. Now, I also like the dude from Vivarium and Art of Self-Defense, Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg, yeah.
He gets involved in some really good projects, and he's evidently did a movie about a Bigfoot, some Bigfoot family.
Yeah, remember we saw the preview for it.
It looked good. It looked good.
It looked like, I think somebody in here a couple weeks ago had seen it, like an early, because I don't know when it's coming out, but they said it was, I don't remember what they said, but they said it was like simultaneously the weirdest and the funniest thing they'd ever seen.
I kind of trust his taste.
It looked kind of hilarious.
I kind of trust Eisenberg's taste in projects. He gets involved in some interesting projects. I really liked Art of Self-Defense, man. And that had a crazy director that I probably wouldn't like personally as a guy. But I understood his message. It's like, yeah, you're right. you're right about warrior cults.
Honestly,
they are fucking crazy.
Yeah. And like even like going more toward like horror movies, I'm kind of surprised more people don't talk about Vivarium because it's kind of like
underappreciated. I think it's misunderstood a lot how weird that movie is.
I loved Vivarium.
I'd sit around.
I
and
thought
think
it was
about
so fucking good.
What the hell kind of fucking interdimensional?
And we've seen it
parasite.
several times because we have it.
An interdimensional parasite. I mean, you've seen the Xenomorph. You've seen the fucking Yauta from fucking Predator. This is something from another dimension that makes you raise its children. Oh,
like
man.
A cuckoo bird.
It's weird, yeah, like a cuckoo bird. And it takes you into a parallel dimension to do it. Like you're in a nest, in a hive of them. And you're not the only one. In other dimensions, there's other ones raising the same kind of things. They look human, but that's just an image. It's not the way it really looks.
I just love it has like a real Twilight Zone vibe to it, and it's just kind of like, and it's so unsettling, and I'm really, really into the whole vibe of it. Yeah, it's funny because there's a neighborhood not far from here where all the houses aren't green, but they're the same shade of green. Some of them are the same shade of green, and some of them are kind of like a bluish, like a baby blue kind of color. And there's like it's a whole like neighborhood. And we call it the Vivarium neighborhood because every time we pass it, every single house looks the same. And some of them are that green color, like in Vivarium there. It's like pretty creepy. So that's what we call it every time we pass it.
Yeah. Now some people say, well, it's just a metaphor for childbirth. No, that's not what it is. That's actual. It's fucking making you fucking... It's making you raise its children in another dimension. That's just another sci-fi horror movie. I mean, yeah. It's easy to dream up of a fucking xenomorph from another planet that does all this shit and it's a weird creature, and the same thing, a predator. Yeah. This is something from another dimension that's using you as part of its reproductive cycle. You're the food and you're raising the children for it. And it slowly consumes you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird, like a cuckoo bird.
It got us on a whole, like, the last time we watched it, we were having, like, a discussion about it in the coffee shop, and we even went on the Wikipedia page and looked up cuckoos and, like, their fucking cycle and stuff. Because it's, like, because not all of them do that. Not all cuckoos, like, push other eggs and other chicks out of, like, a nest to be like, hey, this is my shit now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or lay their eggs in other birds' nests and, like,
and then the child's watching television, like, weird patterns and like that. And then he shows up one day as he gets older, he's got a book. Weird script and drawings. I freeze framed that to see what the drawings were, and it showed the life cycle of the thing.
Yeah,
you know, it didn't look like a human. It was just 3 spheres with rays that came. That's what they were, because there was no way to, I guess, no way to physically draw what they looked like because they're not not happening inside of spatial dimensions. So it was just kind of like icons of what they looked like. But they needed people. And I guess it infers that they evolved along with us, like as like a parasite.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So they're not really alien.
But I like that they left
here.
that. They didn't over-explain it. They just kind of left a lot of that stuff
Leave
to
that
your
shit unknown.
imagination, which is
well,
always
it could have.
better.
Well, according to the book that the kid had, the drawings, we were a fucking integral part of their life cycle. So that's probably been since humanity.
Yeah.
So they
like
must
I said,
be
they're like
evolved
parasites on
with
humans.
us.
Sure.
So that means they're from Earth, but in a dimension, a parallel dimension alongside Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that more than I got Alien.
Yeah, they're part of here. We just don't know about it.
Because it is marginally sci-fi, but
yeah,
you know. Phantom says, any opinions on the 92 mockumentary English film Ghost Watch? Is it any good? It's excellent. It's really good. I actually, if you go over to my Scare Salon channel, I'm pretty sure I did a video on that a while back. But it's on Shudder now if you haven't seen it. Because it was kind of hard to get hold of for a while. And if you really liked Late Night with the Devil, then probably you should see Ghost Watch because it's kind of along similar lines. You can see where Late Night with the Devil got some of the ideas from. And this was, I mean, Ghost Watch came out 7 years before Blair Witch Project. And it's not found footage, but it's purporting to be an actual live broadcast of a paranormal investigation, like on Halloween night, and they're acting like it's all real. And evidently the history behind it was because this hadn't really been done before, other than like, you know, your Orson Welles War of the Worlds type stuff, was that I think they did put a disclaimer at the beginning, but I think from what I heard, like a lot of people didn't see that, and they just kind of started watching it in the middle, and it was like all of these real news presenters like being like their normal selves, so they were presenting it like it was a real show, and it's just kind of like we're investigating something. And you could tell the case was pretty closely based on the Enfield poltergeist case. And then like shit started getting crazier and crazier, and apparently like all of the people watching it, or some of the people watching it, like actually were kind of freaking out, like thinking it was real, because like I said, in 1992, you know, you didn't really have the internet to any great degree. People had never really seen anything like that. So, and these were all real news presenters, so everyone was expecting that this was just like a real show, like a live show, but it wasn't. It was a good trick, and it's a good movie, like by itself. I thought so, like especially if you can watch it in the context of the time. I feel like. But I really like it. I really liked it a lot. It might still be on Shudder, at least in the U.S., because they just added it like a couple months ago. But I think they added it and Late Night with the Devil at the same time, actually. Zach says, I wish I could get into the Beatles, but so much of their music has been in so much media over the years, it's like white noise to me at this point. That's kind of the shitty thing about a lot of music that is real ubiquitous like that, is that after a while you don't really listen to it because it's just kind of... it's everywhere, you know, everyone's heard it. And I kind of feel like that's probably why a lot of workplaces and stuff like that just put like classic rock on, because it's like you've heard those songs so many times, it's just they kind of blend into the background, so it's just kind of like you're not gonna... So, you know, I can see that.
Phantom asked a good question.
Where? Oh, was the Enfield poltergeist real or a hoax? Yeah, because we were talking about Ghost Watch, and that was kind of loosely based on that.
It was a mixture. In general, it was real. I've got the book. It matches up a lot with the phenomena that me and my family saw back in the 80s. Some of the witnesses, though, in there, you can't verify what they saw. All right? You need multiple witnesses to see an event at one time. It's like, for instance, there was a crossing guard woman. She said she looked up in the window and saw Janet hovering in the air above the windows. She could see it, and saw her floating by. only that woman saw that. Nobody else did. I'm not sure that actually happened. But in general, the voices, the objects being thrown, things moving, the voices that came out of Janet, those are recorded. Which I have my own explanation for what that was all about. The cops saw it, and so did some news reporters. There's a real good British documentary on it on YouTube, if you can still find it. The Enfield Poltergeist. I think it was kind of busted up into about 6 or 7 videos. It was made for British television. And another one involved a real good-looking little goth woman with real bright red hair. Back in the 90s, she tracked down Janet as a grown woman. And she was an American girl. I think she was American, wasn't she? Remember?
No,
you don't remember what I'm talking about?
No, I vaguely remember that.
She did a little program, a little interview. She only made a few videos, this woman. She's a real good-looking goth girl back in the 90s who was trying to do television work. And she had bright red hair, almost like your wig. She tracked down Janet. Janet didn't want her face to be seen, but you can tell by her voice that that's her. And she did an interview with her. And it's really good. Probably be real hard to find on new YouTube. But it was made for television. I think it was made for American television. And probably, I don't know if it ever played on television, though. But, you might be able to find. I'm trying to figure out what that girl's name was. She was kind of a flash in the pan. Probably around 95, 96. She may have been British, but I think she was living in the United States. And she, last I heard, she vanished. And I think I Googled her name to find out, but she kind of vanished. She stopped making television type stuff because she got married to somebody involved in TV or movies. So that's the two I'd recommend on Enfield. The British made-for-television documentary, Enfield Poltergeist. If you can find it on YouTube, I think it's from like the very early 80s. And in the mid-90s, there was an interview with Janet Hodgson. I think her name is Hobson. Wasn't it Hobson or Hodgson?
Hodgson.
Hodgson, yeah. And done by this real good-looking goth chick. I just don't remember the name of that video. And it's a spooky interview. They don't show her face, but she's like, I don't know why it happened, but people think that, I made it up, but, everybody saw it, the police saw it, and she goes, it hasn't happened in a long time. I do have little things happen, but it's not like what it was. And it's just like, she's just a very kind of low-income British chick from the council estates, I guess. And she didn't want to talk about it anymore. This was going to be her last interview. Back in like 95.
CB said, you guys should watch the classic British sitcom Porridge, a sitcom set in a British prison. I have seen some episodes of that when I lived over there, like a long time ago. And I remember it being funny, but I haven't seen it in a very long time. And Larry and Creature said, yeah, that's old school. It is, yeah. I liked that kind of, but honestly, when I was over there, because I used to be very long time ago, I was married to a British guy. I liked Only Fools and Horses. That was fucking hilarious, that show. It might still be. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. Larry and Creature said, I haven't seen Late Night with the Devil. Is it worth watching?
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. Legit loved it.
Yeah, great movie. We saw it in the theater.
And it's on Shudder now.
Yeah.
They added it on Shudder like a few weeks ago.
It was a wild movie. It was kind of like took me back to my teenage years when you would go to see a movie. It was like an event. You know what I mean? Like there was fucking hubbub around it. You're like, oh yeah, it's a really good, low budget, well made, indie feeling flick. Yeah, real good. And
I just love that they made it. It might not. I don't know if it. I mean, I kind of feel like, and I think we talked about this when we did the review of it, is that I'm not sure if it will resonate the same with people that weren't around in the 70s and understand, because it's like a 70s talk show, like a nighttime talk show. And it's just kind of like, and I remember those because I grew up in the 70s. So it's like, so they nailed the vibe of that, like exactly. Yeah. And it was like spooky. Like that they got it, the aesthetic of it. So
yeah, it was kind of like going back in time.
It was, yeah. And like sometimes I was watching it and like I forgot that this was made recently. You know what I mean? Because I remembered shows like that. It's not a real show, obviously, but they really like nailed the whole vibe of it. So I was just in awe at how fucking cool it was. I actually kind of want to watch it again. Like I said, now that it's on Shudder. Let me see. Kason Lee says the only found footage movie I like is the Blair Witch Project. You know what? I'm gonna say I will watch pretty much any horror movie of any genre if people tell me it's good. Like,
if you like Blair Witch Project, you'd like the one we just mentioned, that devil one.
Yeah.
It's not found footage, but it's kind of like...
It's more like a mockumentary.
It's like a mockumentary, yeah.
Which, like I said, if I'm gonna like I have liked some found footage movies, like the Poughkeepsie tapes, like movies like that. But honestly, most of the time, if I'm gonna like a found footage movie, like the VHS movies are pretty good too. I did like a whole thing on those, on all of them, like on my Scare Salon channel. But if I'm gonna like a found footage movie, it's gonna be more like a mockumentary style, like Lake Mungo or The Bay or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm into that kind of shit. But some found footage is good, but it's not usually my go-to genre. Oh, and As Above, So Below, that was a good one. That was French, I think. That was a really good. That was a really good found footage. I'm trying to think of like other found footage. I know there's other ones because I can always think of some that I like, but it's not usually my go-to genre, you know. But Blair Witch was good too. Phantom says that little girl from the Enfield Poltergeist, her teeth look just like Rocco's teeth from the cartoon Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's Janet.
It kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, poor girl. I mean, that was a very famous case. We did a show about it a very long time ago.
Yeah.
A very long time ago. Larry and Creature said, I like watching the old Johnny Carson and Dick Cavett shows anyway, so I'll get that side of it if I decide to watch it. It sounds like I should.
It's like Dick Cavett.
Yeah, it's kind of like that vibe to it, and they did a really good job like recreating like the look and the whole feel of it.
The idea is that it's like it's a talk show, like you're watching an episode of Dick Cavett, and he's struggling in his ratings, and he has a paranormal guest on where this girl who's supposedly possessed, and paranormal shit happens on the show, and they go to breaks and everything. You know, it's good, and they got people on there trying to debunk it, and another dude that believes in it, and then they show you what happens behind the scene. Like whenever they go to break, they fucking, the dude goes back to, what the fuck was that? What happened? It's good. It's good. You'll like it. And then they go, and then, did they ever show the audience?
Yeah.
They do show the audience, yeah. So it's a little
Because remember there was that guy in the skeleton outfit.
Yeah, that's right. So there's an element of like Jerry Springer too. You know, in Jerry Springer you saw who was on stage and you see the audience. So it's kind of like that.
Because remember the psychic guy was over there like talking to people in the audience and like trying to.
They got dudes kind of like the Amazing Randy.
Yeah, that dude was based on the Amazing Randy. I'm sure.
Yeah. And they got a Swami on there. A dude who's like a fucking psychic.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be kind of like Uri Geller. I got a Uri Geller kind of vibe. And like I said, the other guy, the skeptic guy, was clearly supposed to be James Randi, although he was like way more condescending. than James Randi.
We saw the theater. It was fucking great. It was great. It was a great show. I want to see it again.
I do too. Well, like I said, it's on Shudder.
Oh, it's on Shudder. We'll watch it.
Yeah, because I've been wanting to rewatch it. And, like, David Malchian, however you pronounce his last name. I mean, he was fucking great in it. He's great in everything. Like, he's always good in shit. But, man, he just carried that whole fucking movie. It's pretty fucking awesome. CB says, the only thing I hate about horror movies is when someone survived and then they get killed in the first 10 minutes in the next one. Yeah. But that's kind of a trope, though, isn't it? Although, is it a trope? I'd be interested to know, like, how many times that does happen. The one that I always think of is Friday the 13th, obviously, because Adrienne King, and she survived in the first one, and then she gets, spoiler alert, she gets killed in the first couple minutes of the second one. But second one's the best one. I'm not coming down from that. I don't think that too many people are going to argue with me about that, about the Friday the 13th movies. Second one is obviously the best one.
I liked 1 to 3.
I don't even like the third one.
I liked the third one.
First one's okay. Second one's the best one. What was the one with the Corey in it?
That 4, I think it was 4.
Where he had shaved his head at the end.
I think it was 4.
That was a good one. Was that the fourth one or the fifth one? I can't remember. That was a good one.
Mostly the first 3. I liked the third one. It
Now,
was cheesy, but I was a kid.
That was the 3D one, right?
I have it, yeah.
Wasn't that the one with the outhouse gag?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that one had the outhouse gag.
It was
like
supposed
the
to be 3D,
diarrhea
so
guy.
they had these corny 3D fucking... But I never saw it in 3D. Only saw it on fucking Cinemax at night. Up in Mississippi during the summer, man, they were playing that shit and fucking we scared as fuck. Afraid that Jason was going to come out of the woods.
Even though they're really not that scary when you like...
Well, when you're like 15, 16, 17, 15. I think it's probably about 15. 14, 15. You're like, man... I wasn't afraid that Jason would come. I'm afraid somebody else like Jason would come get him.
Yeah, not Jason specifically.
Yeah.
We know he's not real.
We know that's the... But might be some dude going to come in through the back door with a fucking hatchet or something, you know?
You know what's crazy? I saw... I'm trying to think of like movies that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I remember seeing My Bloody Valentine, the original one, which came out in 81, so I must have seen it in 82 or whenever it came on cable. So I was probably only like 10 years old or something like that. And that movie, it's not scary now. It's a great movie. It's one of the best slashers. Canadian movie. But it's just kind of like, that movie scared the absolute fucking crap out of me when I was a little kid. And I was like, I had nightmares about like a dude with a pickaxe like popping out my closet. I had to go sleep on the couch. Like my mom thought it was so funny because she like came out and she's like, why are you out here? Pickaxe man. You know what I mean? Because I was allowed to watch like all that kind of stuff. Because I love that stuff, but it scared the crap out of me. The Shining scared the crap out of me, too, the first time that I saw it. Actually, probably the first 2 or 3 times that I saw it.
Well, it just kind of left you with an eerie feeling every time you saw it.
Yeah, there's something just... And it still kind of does. I love, like, the vibe of that movie. That's why I never get sick of watching it. Because there's just kind of this whole... It's like going into, like, some weird liminal space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, the Jason fans, like Phantom and old, Old Restless, they're saying that 1 through 3 were the best ones because 3 introduced the hockey mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the second one he had like a bag over his head, like the Phantom Killer.
Bag over his head with one eye. Yeah. And then you got to see that he still had his mom's head and her sweater.
Yeah, in the second one.
Yeah.
Well, I love
trying to put her back together.
Yeah, that whole scene where she fucking goes in there like the final girl, and she goes in there and like puts the sweater on. She's like, ew.
Phantom just ordered Chinese, and they're gonna do a copy. He's doing a copy of Late Night with the Devil on eBay for fucking $13. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, like I said, don't come at me if you don't like it, because I know that some people didn't, and they didn't get what the hype was. Yeah. But honestly, I loved it. I legit loved it. I really did.
Like it.
I thought it was great.
You like it? It's good.
I got like so fucking into it.
Yeah, and what's funny is that it was in the aspect ratio of television.
Yeah, it was just like an old television.
Like old television, yeah. And it was low res, like you're watching it on CRT television.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, Larry and Creature said I like Baghead Jason. I did too, actually. Yeah, he's kind of because he kind of like looked like a scary like redneck or something.
Yeah, he's just in his coveralls.
And then you see his face though, but remember because he comes busting through the window and like he looks like he looks like an inbred.
Yeah. What's funny is that it's a different guy playing him every time.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, up until Kane Hodder played him until I think he started in like late, like
4
the
or
6th.
5.
No, I think it was even later. It might have been the 6th or the 7th one. And then he played him for a few movies, but before that, it was always like
it's not. There's no continuity in it.
Nah,
there isn't continuity.
No one's that worried about it.
Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense.
It's a supernatural slasher movie.
Yeah,
like they're not because I know that some people are just kind of like, well, wait, he was a kid in the first one, like when he popped out of the lake or whatever, and now he's a grown ass man, even though he was supposedly dead. And is he a zombie or something like? Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, is he a zombie? Was he living out in the woods? What the deal? Your imagination was supposed to run wild. The way I took it, all right, at 14, 15, maybe even 13, I guess, I was probably that young when I probably first saw it, is that his mom got killed and he didn't drown. That he got lost out in the woods and was living like
and then he was just living out there. That's kind of what I assumed, too. I'm just like, hey, he wasn't really
and
there.
And then he saw his mom somehow get killed.
Yeah, he was watching from the shore or something, saw her get beheaded. And he was like, oh,
he had her
I
head.
vow revenge.
Yeah, later on he had her head. And he was just running, And he was mentally retarded, according to his mom. And he got bigger and meaner as he got. And you couldn't kill him.
Because reasons.
Didn't matter.
Well, they got
that one. I think his head pretty much gets cleaved in half, I think.
That was later.
Was that later?
That was a later
I thought
one.
that's how he got killed. I thought the machete hit him in the head and then he fell and it went through.
No, that was like the fourth or the fifth one.
I don't know, man. It's been a long time. I think that's how he died in the second one.
I can't remember. It's been a while.
But then you see him the third one and he's got a fucking hockey mask on. And,
yeah, he gets the
he
hockey
survived
mask in
it.
the third
He survived the fucking one. I'm
'Cause
pretty
he's
sure
fucking
in the second one.
supernatural, that's why.
There's some real pros in there. You might be able to back me up. Maybe you won't. I think at the end of 2, he gets a machete stuck into his head and he falls through the fucking broken door and it fucking hits and it goes deeper, and the girl assumes that he dies. They never did say what happens to the body. I mean, you would think that the cops would show up and go, "Yeah, there's the offender," and then he goes off to the morgue.
That never happens.
It never happens.
They
They never tell you what happens. The next thing you know,
honestly,
she's in the hospital. What happened to the boy or whatever? You know,
that was the end of the
like
first
that.
one.
They're all like that though.
I know.
It ends where the girl's like, "What happened to the thing? We don't know. We never found them.
Yeah, American Military 100 said Jason got a machete to the shoulder at the end of part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, the one where it goes in his face and then he slides down.
Yeah.
That was either the fourth or the fifth one. Pretty sure. Because I remember that gag. Because I remember for a long time I had a documentary about Tom Savini and he did that gag.
But what was supposedly killed him in 2? I don't remember. There's a scene where he supposedly gets killed. But I don't remember how
he
it
always
was done.
supposedly gets killed at
Right.
the end. But
I
I
don't
can't
remember
remember
what
how
happens.
I can't remember how he got killed at the
I don't
end. I get them all confused because I've seen
Yeah.
them all so many times.
And they're all very similar.
Yeah, part 4 says old breasts. Yeah, I knew it was it was either 4 or 5 or
Yeah.
something like that, where he had the
where
he slid down the machete, which was a great effect. By the way,
I got the first 3. That's really all you need when you're my age, because after 3, we started checking out of them.
Although I
weren't that
will
good.
say that my favorite gag in all of the Friday the 13th movies is in part 7, where he picks up the person in the sleeping bag and just like whacks him against a tree.
Yeah,
that's
a rip
still
off from Prophecy.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
that still was it Prophecy or Day of the Animals?
Prophecy. That's
I
where
thought it
the
was
fucking
I thought it was
midget
Day of the
fucking
Animals.
Smack that kid. He's trying to jump away
There's
There's
a gif of it.
Man,
It's either Prophecy or it's Day of the Animals. I can't remember. It's one of those two.
When I was a little kid out in California.
That shit was hilarious.
When I was a little kid out in California, going to Sequoia National Forest with my aunt fucking Lois and shit. I'd be in those sleeping bags. That was scared as shit. I mean, normally we were sleeping in a camper though. At least I saw that fucking. I went to the theater. I can't remember who took me to see it. It might have been fucking little Kimmy, my fucking.
Your hot babysitter.
I fucking loved her. I dug up a picture of Kimmy one time and showed her on the show. When I fucking showed Kimmy to Jen, she's like, "Oh, that's her," because she's probably imagining some fucking hot chick. Kimmy was like 13 or 12. She was a little kid.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, I don't know what she was imagining. She was a little kid at the time.
Yeah.
But she would babysit me. She'd take me around. And take me to movies and shit. My mother would pay her. It's just the way it was in the 70s.
Well, I mean, I hope she's paying. Just we didn't want to watch you for free.
Oh no, she'd give her money to go to the movies and fucking and all kinds of stuff.
Well, yeah,
take me to the movies.
Yeah, that's what babysitters
That's the way it was in the 70s.
Well, that's what babysitters did back then.
Yeah.
They still do that nowadays.
Yeah. And
Here,
she'd
have some money.
Bring
Buy 'em
all
some-
her
buy 'em a
little
pizza.
hippie friends, you know what I mean? All listening to fucking Led Zeppelin and smoking weed and shit. It was fun. They passed me around like a little pokey. Yeah, it was like I was with the girls. And but they would take me to see horror movies too, because I liked them. And I think they were rated R, but it was California. They could sneak me in there anyway. It didn't matter.
Yeah, they didn't really give a shit.
They would
back
just
then.
get a fucking
They're
ticket
like,
for other
whatever.
movie and just go to the movie they wanted to see.
Well, yeah, everybody did that.
Well, I think, and they were probably too young to go see those too.
Yeah, I imagine they probably were.
Right,
You're supposed to be 17?
17, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they were 17.
Although you can take, if you're a parent, you can take kids to see it.
I think at the time, Cami and her friends were probably more like 14.
Yeah.
13, 14.
I don't remember ever having any problem getting into any movies.
Yeah. So, but some of those movies were rated R.
Yeah.
Like they took me to see The Evil, and I think that was rated R.
Yeah, that was the one from 1978, right?
Yeah.
That's a good flick, too.
I'd have been 9, and they would have been probably about 14.
Maybe that's rated R. I'd have to look. I'm not real sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's not super gory, is it? There's some gore in it.
Yeah.
There's some nudity in it, too, now that
Yeah.
because we've seen it a few times.
Yeah. That shit went on for years. But I remember that I was at the matinee and I saw the trailer for Prophecy. and saw that kid hopping away, trying to get away.
It's so funny.
In that fucking sleeping bag,
It's so
and they
funny.
claw that mutant bear. In fucking, it was basically if you play Fallout, it was a Yao Guai. The mutated bear is one of those, and he goes bam, and it hit that kid, and he goes flying and hits a tree,
It's
and it
the
explodes in fucking feathers.
It's the best.
It looks fucking awesome. It looked fucking.
It's one of the
shit
funniest
out of me,
fucking things I've ever seen in a movie ever.
At the time, I was probably about 8 or 9. It scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh.
Well, the thing about it is that American movies didn't usually kill kids.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Italian movies would. They didn't give one single fuck. They'd be like, "You're a little kid. Who cares? We're gonna get." You know, I just did, and they still do that too because I just did a review of that fucking Spanish movie, The Coffee Table, which I don't want to spoil it too much, but something really bad happens to a baby, like a newborn baby in that. But yeah, so they would do shit to kids. So you didn't usually see that in an American movie. You see it probably more often now because they're not as. But back then, you knew nothing bad was going to happen to the kid. Yeah. But something bad happened to that kid.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of hilarious.
Yeah, but she lived like three houses down, and I grew up around her, so I knew her since I was like a baby. She was the little kid too. Now, the picture I showed, she was probably about what, 13 or 14, and I was probably.
I guess.
She's probably about.
Really remember.
No, she's probably about 12 at the picture that I have. She's
yeah,
probably about 12.
I mean that's about the age girls start babysitting. So.
Yeah, but at that time I was probably about 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Larry and Creature says 2 other good classic horrors: Death Dream from 1974. I did a review of that probably last year. I want to say that is a great movie. And Deranged from the same year. We did a review of that. That's the movie that's probably the closest to like the real life Ed Gein. They've made a lot of movies loosely based on Ed Gein. Obviously, the most famous one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But Deranged is actually pretty close. It's probably the closest. I don't know if like some of the later ones, because I know they did a whole run in the 2000s of like movies about serial killers, and they did one about Ed Gein, which I haven't seen. So that might be more accurate. But Deranged was actually pretty close. They changed his name and they changed some of the details, but it's obviously supposed to be Ed Gein. And the guy that was in it, Roberts Blossom, I think his name is, he was the same guy that played LeBay in the Christine movie from 1983, the John Carpenter one. And he's great. He's great in it. It's a great movie, actually. It has like some kind of cheesy stuff at the beginning, but it's really well done. It has like a weird... It's kind of disturbing, but it has like kind of a dark comedy vibe to it. And I think it was one of the first movies that Tom Savini worked on. Now that I'm thinking about it. American Military 100 said Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is how slasher films should be done. Bonafide classic. I love that fucking movie. Because it's not... It's a true horror movie because they're not quote-unquote glamorizing it. They're not... I mean, they're basically just showing what it would be like if you hung out with these scumbags that did this kind of shit. It's very matter of fact. And to me, that makes it like a lot more scary, you know? And even though, I mean, I know like Henry Lee Lucas, he didn't kill as many people as people think that he did, but he was still a dirtbag and he still did kill people. And, you know, the fact that and Michael Rooker is fucking great in that. I love him in everything, but yeah. I don't know what dark place he had to go to be in that fucking movie, but he was fucking great in that. Yeah, Kelly said Death Dream is the best. It's so good, and I kind of feel like a lot of people don't talk about it. It's sort of loosely based on The Monkey's Paw, you know, the W.W. Jacobs story, kind of. You know, in the sense that, you know, a mother like wishes for her son to come back from Vietnam, and obviously he kind of got killed there, but he comes back anyway. But then when he comes back, he's like not right, and it's like super unsettling. And I'm gonna say like a little bit of a spoiler alert: if you watch Death Dream, if you're real sensitive about like bad shit happening to dogs, some real bad shit happens to a dog. So you know, just a heads up, because I was watching it and I was just kind of like motherfucker, because I have a hard time. I can watch horrible shit done to people all day long in movies, but you do something bad to like a cat or a dog, I'm just like, oh, I get really upset. Yeah, American Military 100 said Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive shows a little boy's head get crushed by a steamroller. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. You know what's interesting is that just a couple nights ago when we were scrolling through Prime or it's either Prime or Max. I can't really remember. And they had Maximum Overdrive on there. And I don't know if Tom's ever seen it or not. I said, you'd probably love this fucking shit. You'd probably love Maximum Overdrive. It's kind of hard not to love it. It's like so bad that it kind of goes all the way around and becomes awesome again. It's like completely, you can tell that like Stephen King was completely coked out of his fucking gourd when he made this movie. But I don't know. There's something about it that's just, it's just delightful. It's just delightful, that movie. It's terrible and yet awesome at the same time. Larry Creature said I have Deranged on VHS UK. Here, couldn't believe I found it when it came up on eBay. I kind of feel like a lot of people don't talk about it, but it's a great movie. It's really good. I think I don't even remember. I kind of remember seeing it in the video store like back in the day, but I don't think I ever rented it. And then a few years back, I was scrolling through, because I like to periodically kind of scroll through lists of like underrated horror movies from the 70s, 80s, because you know, you never know. I might have like missed out on some shit, because I try to see everything, but there's some stuff that's fallen through the cracks. And I think that was one that came up, and I was just kind of like, man, we need to see that. And then we found it on, I think we saw it on Tubi or something like that. And I was surprised at like how good it was, honestly. I was thinking it was just going to be like some shitty like $5 movie, but it was actually like pretty quality, and the acting in it was really good.
What movie you talking about?
Deranged, the one, remember the one that was about Ed Gein?
Yeah.
Kind of like from the 70s. Yeah, Kelly said I had to fast forward that part. So sad. Yeah, the dog part. Yeah, I had a hard time. It's a great movie, but I had a really hard time with that scene. So, like I said, animal lovers might want to just skip it.
Yeah, Kason Lee says it's weird. Lots of movies people deem to be great, I either find cheesy or boring. I only like it if it fucks with my mind and makes you go, what just happened? Shit, okay. What's a movie that's kind of like that?
Well, it's going to be different for everybody, obviously.
Well, that one we were just talking about, what's it, Midnight with the Devil, or what's it called?
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil? Yeah, see that one. The ending is kind of a surprise ending.
Some people did not like the ending. I liked it, though.
Right, and to understand it, you have to understand American culture. And American culture as it goes with, like, cults. Let me see. What's it? I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, don't.
There's owl imagery. There's owl imagery and stuff with it. And there's a cult that uses an owl imagery. That's part of what happens.
I don't think they name it in the film, but it's very clear what they're talking about.
Yeah, an American would know.
I immediately knew what they were talking
about. Right.
Immediately. But yeah. Well, and like I said, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so I'm not sure. I guess it's like not the same nowadays, where, you know, it's like people in other countries watching stuff and you wouldn't get the the cultural context, because there's not as much, you know, division or isolation as there used to be. But a lot of the stuff in that movie, I picked up on the references to particular people, and like all the guests on the show were like supposed to be certain people.
Yeah. According to the things I picked up from Saad, my Arabian friend in Saudi, people see imagery from the West, but in general, with most people, say like in the Middle East, there's a big language barrier. They don't speak English, so they don't quite really understand everything.
And if you didn't grow up here and see, right. And especially if it's something like so specific, like right. I said, like Late Night with the Devil is very specifically referring to 70s late night talk shows and some of the guests that were on those talk shows. Like, you don't have to know anything about that, like, to enjoy the movie. But I think if you know that and you grew up with it and you know the people that they're referring to, I think you get a lot more out of it.
Yeah. And there's a thing going on right now where you have Middle Eastern guys, young Middle Eastern guys are really getting into American 80s classic movies, because the writing of that era speaks to them. That's very much you know, their culture understands that. they're kind of in some ways going through the same thing America was going through back in the 80s. It's like a new era. So they see Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, they fucking love it. Terminator 1, they love it. Predator 1, they love it. All this shit that we fucking love, they're getting an appreciation for that. And there are whole shows, you know, where these old guys and some old guys and young guys from places like Pakistan are reacting to these movies, and their opinions of them are the same as our opinions of them. And they're amazed. They're like, man, I cannot believe that this is from 1981.
Yeah, like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah,
which they thought was like the best movie of all.
There's this dude named Babu. He's about fucking 75.
Yeah, he's old.
And that movie blew his mind. And there was a younger guy watching it fucking with him, and they loved that movie. And Babu says, "I'm speechless." He says, "I think this is the best movie I've ever seen." And the young guy goes, "Yeah, this is the best movie." Because this is a perfect movie. It's hard to beat Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Everything about that movie just came together like lightning in a bottle.
The edit and the speed and the tone of that movie, the balance between action, adventure, and humor is all there. It's a world movie. This Western character's going throughout the Middle East, and he's got fucking Middle Eastern friends. He's got African merchant friends. It's the scope of the movie. Anybody can understand, you know, and everybody's going on an adventure with this guy. What they didn't get, being from Pakistan, is they didn't understand that was not a 1980s story. That was actually a 1940s story. That was the way a lot of 1940s and 1950s serials were.
Yeah, that's what they were based on.
30s series, yeah. So it was a reboot of an older genres.
Yeah, so like I said, that's what I mean about cultural context, because they didn't go through the same cultural changes that we would that our movie industry went to. So like most people, when they see that, know that it's a throwback to the serials of like the 30s and 40s.
And Raiders of the Lost Ark basically is the same genre as King Kong.
Yeah.
White dudes going on an adventure. Going to fucking places nobody knows.
White dude adventure.
They got black people there. The motherfuckers are sacrificing people.
Exotic.
They got a gigantic fucking gorilla. Supernatural shit. And they want to take this shit back to New York, and it all goes wrong.
Well. Yeah. Who could have foreseen?
Very similar to King Kong.
It is kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to make a movie, I would advise that maybe you want to look back at movies like from a long time ago that people still watch today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like see what they did correctly.
Yeah.
And like maybe you want to structure it like that.
Yeah.
Because obviously they hit upon something that is universal, and they hit upon something that transcends generations.
Yeah.
So you might want to.
Yeah. Another thing is that foreigners to the culture, especially if they're new to American movie culture, is that they don't realize that our greatest movies were great in spite of Hollywood. Had Hollywood actually been more involved in them, they would have fucking sucked. Hollywood mostly pumps out garbage. The shit that you remembering, that we remember, that we all like, actually Hollywood didn't think that would succeed, or they wouldn't have actually fucking done that, or it was a real risk.
Or they didn't fuck with it too much.
They didn't fuck with it that much because they didn't.
Now there are exceptions to that, but
Jaws 1. Okay. Close Encounters of the Third Time. Anything fucking early Steven Spielberg. Because Hollywood sucked so bad, it took Steven Spielberg to actually kind of save it. Because they had been making fucking cop movies for fucking about a decade.
I mean, some of which are great.
Some of them are good. Like Bullet. Bullet is fucking great.
I love Bullet.
Yeah. But fucking most of them were real dry and gritty and boring. And then before that, they were making a lot of westerns that were just cheesy and boring, and musicals that were kind of boring, and comedies that were just boring, you know, weren't even really funny. And that's why, Rudy Ray Moore made his Dolomite movies because Hollywood movies were fucking not funny. Not to black people. They're like, this isn't funny. Rudy Ray came up with that shit, and then followed behind him was fucking Eddie Murphy, who was a fan of Rudy Ray, who did a great movie called Dolomite's My Name, where he plays Rudy Ray Moore and tells the story of that guy. So
It's a heartwarming movie.
Yeah, real good movie. Excellent movie.
It's really
that was
good.
part of Eddie Murphy's comeback. That movie right there was like, okay, yeah, Eddie Murphy's back. I want to see the new Beverly Hills Cop 4. It's supposed to be out soon
this summer.
It's
going right to Netflix.
It's going to go right to Netflix, but the trailer looked good. 1 and 2 are masterpieces. 3 is the edit of that movie is not that good. It didn't quite have lost its tone. But I really, and Eddie knew that. He said 3 wasn't that good. It had a lot of problems. I just want him to recapture the magic of 1 and 2, which I think he will.
Thank you very much. Bryce gave us a super chat. Always thank you for that. People here in New Zealand love everything American. Yeah, I mean, we make some not so great shit, but we make some good shit too.
A lot of it's garbage.
But like I said,
it comes and goes, and
it's just I like to. And the older I get, I don't want to be one of those like old farts that's just kind of like complaining about everything. So it's like because there's tons of stuff. That's why I find people really tiresome that are just kind of like, oh, there's nothing, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's tons of shit out there. Like, you can find shit that you like. And actually, it's better now than it used to be because there's shit everywhere. Like, everybody's making stuff.
It's the so independent stuff.
Yeah, it's, like, so cheap to make stuff now. It's like somewhere, somebody is making something that you will like. So please watch that and quit your whining.
That's really, the one that's not getting getting the appreciation it deserves is Furiosa. Furiosa's fucking great. I want to see it again.
I really liked that movie very much.
But the problem with it is that so many people have turned against. They're looking at the fucking. They're looking at the trailer of that movie and they go, well, that's a girl boss movie. I don't want to see that. And they're associating that movie with a whole bunch of big string of bad movies that have been called girl boss movies.
But it's nothing like that.
There's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's not a girl boss movie.
But that's what's dumb about judging shit that you haven't seen.
You can't judge it until you've seen it.
That's really stupid.
It's a hardcore, very good wasteland movie. And then they want to cry, well, Mad Max isn't in it. Yeah, he is in it for a few seconds. But the world, the wasteland world from the Mad Max series, it can't be just about Mad Max. It's got to be. You got to expand it out. There's so much shit that could happen in that world.
Well, yeah, it's a whole universe that you can explore.
Yeah, and you got to have you could do like an MCU type deal with that, which I think may have been what they wanted to do, but the timing. They started working on these things a long time ago. This Furiosa should have come out about 2 years after Fury Road. It probably would have been a lot.
Yeah,
more.
And I saw a lot of reviewers say that, but like I said. It's just kind of like, look, I see movies come out, and I'm just kind of like, that doesn't really look that interesting. That's not interesting to me. But I'm not going to say that's not a good movie or that's a bad movie or anything like that if I haven't seen it. I'm just saying, well, it's like, well, that's not interesting to me, so I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to shit on it. I've never seen it, so why should I? Yeah. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. So I don't understand, like, the attitude that people have that...
There's malaise, too. Okay.
Well, yeah, I get that. I get that.
This is the worst Hollywood's done in a fucking long, long time. And they had other shit that was good, like a Jason Statham movie. That's not a girl boss movie. Beekeeper was supposed to be fucking awesome. Nobody saw it.
I remember seeing the trailer for that a couple of times.
The trailer looked kind of to me. But most people that said, no, it's fucking great. It's fucking
well,
great.
It looked good, but it looked like some other movies that he had done.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of looked like The Meg.
That's what I was thinking. It looked derivative. It looked kind of generic.
Right. But, that's not saying that it's not still might be fun. And like I said, trailers, it's hard to tell because trailers are sometimes kind of deceptive.
I think it was the problem with that movie was the trailer.
Maybe. But like I said, I'm not hugely into action movies. I do like them, but a lot of them seem kind of samey.
Yeah. That's what I saw, the Beekeeper.
But like I said, I'm not going to shit on it if I haven't seen it. Maybe it's good. I don't know.
Probably fun. I like Jason Statham.
I do too.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it comes up on streaming, we'll probably watch it.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
Larry and Creature says, another Death Dream-like movie which I love is Martin. Man, Martin is so good. I'm sure everybody here knows, but it's kind of a lesser-known George Romero movie. And it's a vampire movie, sort of. It's about a guy who... is maybe a vampire, or is maybe a crazy person that thinks he's a vampire. So it's kind of like a grounded look at the vampire mythology. But it's really, really good if you haven't seen it. I really like it. It's probably, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite George Romero movie, but it's definitely up there. American Military 100 said, I had never heard of Deranged until you guys reviewed it. I concur that dude's acting was excellent. Yeah, that guy was fucking great in it. And like I said, he was in Christine also, the John Carpenter movie. Larry and Creature said, I've been meaning to watch that movie Vanishing Point. Is that any good? It was so long ago that I saw. I remember it being good, but it was a long time ago.
Bryce says he loves the doll in the back. Yeah.
That's our.
I was actually thinking.
That's our girlfriend.
That's our girlfriend. I was actually thinking about moving her because she's been sitting on this thing. This is gray, and sometimes the color can.
Oh, she's gonna get gray dye on her butt.
Yeah, maybe.
Not something that you have to worry about.
It's probably only going to be another couple hours on the show. She probably.
Yeah, she'll be all right.
She'll be all right.
And you can like get some of that peroxide stuff and get it off her booty.
She's got a cute booty.
Yeah, he does like the booty.
Yeah, she got a cute booty.
Yeah, Bryce says a lot of Manosphere guys hate Furiosa. Yeah, I don't really.
I don't know why.
I don't.
That movie's fucking hard as nails.
It's a good fucking movie. I really liked it. We actually were gonna go see it again today, but I got too busy.
It's got a lot of good fucking male characters in it. She's a great female character up there with like Ellen Ripley. She doesn't do anything unrealistic. Not outside the confines of that particular world. Like some weird shit happens in all those movies, but you know it's in that same tone. She doesn't do anything that a woman couldn't do. Within reason, you know what I mean? Like a lot of dudes are doing things that a dude actually probably couldn't do, but it doesn't really, like, she's not overpowering 200-pound men. She's just real agile, real good shot, fast thinker, good driver, very brave. Goes back to rescue people when she could have run and was told to run, you know, just shit, that kind of shit.
Yeah, which anybody can do.
Right. A lot of good action in it. They were saying, well, the CG was the same kind of CG that was in Fury Road. It was mostly practical effects. They used CG to cover things. And CG backgrounds.
Some of the backgrounds were
CG.
Yeah. I will admit that.
Yeah, big mountains and crap. And like...
sandstorms.
One dude was on a damn brick smokestack that disintegrated into fucking bricks. And he was about 6 stories off the ground and fucking had to jump and grab.
Although that looked pretty good. I'm sure that
looked real, but...
I'm sure that was CG'd.
It was CG,
but it looked good, though.
Yeah, the smokestack collapsing was CG.
Yeah.
But it looked good. It looked good.
Yeah, I thought it did too.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It's going to be a cult classic. I like all the fucking... I have all of the Mad Max movies. It's way above Thunderdome. Way above Thunderdome. Thunderdome's the worst one.
Like I said, I'll admit it's not as good as Fury Road.
No.
But
still pretty damn good.
It's still pretty fucking good.
It's better than Mad Max 1, and I like Mad Max 1. That's not a bad one. It's just a very crude one. It was this first one. But if you... Better than fucking... The worst one is still Thunderdome. And it's not that bad. Thunderdome isn't that bad.
It has good shit about it.
Yeah,
like I said, I think Tina Turner is my favorite thing.
Yeah, yeah. It has good parts. But there's parts of it that it's tonally all over the place. I think a lot of it has to do with actually the soundtrack and the score. The score, not soundtrack, but the score and some of the dialogue. It's off. It seems very repetitive and chanty in times. And
a lot of people don't like it because of like all the kids in it.
No, little kids.
Because you always kind of ruin stuff when you put kids in it. Because I kind of feel like that was a big thing in the 80s when people like... And look, we lived through the 80s. Both of us did.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of 80s movies. But one thing that a lot of 80s movies did, once you got 2 or 3 movies into the franchise, which I don't think they called it franchise back then. That's a more recent nomenclature. But, you know, by about the 3rd movie, they're like, let's add a cute kid to the movie.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like a lot of IPs did that to the detriment of... the story, because then like people would go see it and say, why is this fucking kid in this shit? Like, what is this about? Like, nobody likes that. It's very rare for like a kid actor to be really good in something and not distracting and annoying as fuck. There are exceptions, but normally I don't want to see a movie with and you shoehorn a kid in there, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, we talked about this before. I didn't mind like Short Round.
Yeah.
From like the Indiana Jones movies.
He was one of the better ones.
Still slightly annoying, but not that annoying. Not like Kenny in the Gamera movies or anything like that.
CB said Meg 2 looks good. He wants to see it. It was good. We saw it in the theater. It was good. If you
It's
like
just
Meg
fun.
1,
It's just fun.
just a fun movie. If you like Meg 1, you'd like Meg 2. They just give you more of that, and then they try to top it. And Jason Statham being himself. Jason Statham as Jason Statham in a Jason Statham movie.
Sure.
Starring Jason Statham.
Stathaming the fuck out.
Stathaming the fuck out. He's the same character in all of his fucking movies.
Well, it works for him.
Yeah.
It works for him.
That's the way Arnold was.
And that's okay.
Yeah. The way Arnold was.
Honestly, I'm going to say, maybe this is a controversial statement, but I think that Jason Statham is actually more charming than Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger always had something a little off-putting about him.
Arnold was a good villain, but they wouldn't make him.
That's
play
what I mean.
the-
He didn't have any. Jason Statham has some warmth to him,
Yeah.
which Arnold Schwarzenegger never really had in these movies. But like I said, so that's why I think like he played a better villain or a robot or something like that, because he never struck me as like a very warm person, and he might be in real life, but like in movies he never came across that way. Jason Statham comes across as like more charismatic, I guess.
Jason Statham is sexy. Arnold wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on screen. At least he wasn't. Women that went with him said he was addictive to be around.
Yeah, like I said, just and like I said, I don't know him in real life, and he might be completely charming and sexy or whatever, like in real life, but that doesn't come across like on screen, because that's two different things. You know what I mean? Yeah, Bryce says Arnold just brings huge muscles, otherwise he's a shit actor.
Actually, he only did that for a certain amount of time. He got pretty small. As far as he was his biggest in Conan. He progressively got smaller, but it's because the directors were telling him to lose weight. Which, I'm like, well, why the fuck you got this guy in the movie if you want him to lose weight? You know, what I mean, that's why he's here, is to be fucking huge. You know.
You be huge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Now, I would say the best happy medium would have been in Predator 1. Arnold's still pretty big, but he's leaned. He's leaned out a lot. His arms are still pretty big, but he's shit. I'd say he's fucking 30% smaller than what he was in Conan. In Conan, he's fucking juicy as fuck. He's juiced. He looks good. But he's also a lot younger in that one. People don't realize that in Predator, he was, I think, 41 or 42 in Predator. And that's a fucking great 40, man. 40 plus. He's great. Testing fucking steroids fucking does wonders, man. Let's see what we got. Yeah, and Bryce says he looks amazing in Conan, because he is. And he had a couple of good acting scenes that were cut out of Conan. And people would have taken him, I think, a little bit more seriously had they left those scenes in there. One of the scenes that he did was called, you can find it on YouTube, it's a Conan deleted scenes called Spring Winds, I think is what, Spring Winds, I think you can probably find it, Conan The Spring. And it's Conan talking to Subutai about, man, fucking, this is fucking 20 years of pitiless combat. Fucking, don't you ever want to, don't the spring winds ever call you? You know what I mean? We can get the fuck out of here and find women and make a family. And he's like, yeah, spring winds. Yeah, everybody feels that, but I know that would just lead me back to the fucking battlefield. It was a good little, everything in there is kind of symbolic, it's prehistoric Star Wars, really. The spring winds fucking scene was about PTSD, is what it is. Dudes get addicted to fucking combat and warfare and shit, or service. When they're there, they want to go home. When they're home, the home is not there anymore. They want to go back. They want to go back to the army. That's what they're talking about. It's great when you fucking Milius did his homework, man. He knew everything about it. It's all about Nietzschean philosophy and fucking the warrior code. He wanted to be. He said that if this movie failed, he was going to fucking join the French Foreign Legion, and he meant it. He was wearing a French Legionnaire's beret while he was directing it.
Because he said if I fuck this up.
Yeah, if this big's fucked up, I'm going to the French Quarter.
Zach says that you should do a voice for Ariel.
Dude, no, they're just trying to get me to fucking act crazy.
You're not drunk enough yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Murder Hornet's talking about how hot it is down there. I feel you. It's hot here too. We live in Florida. Although I didn't go outside today, but
it was hot for a while, and then it started to cool off.
Yeah, my little weather thing said it was like super hot, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay in here in the air conditioning. And matter of fact, in my office, it's like fucking freezing cold. I was so cold that I had like 2 long sleeve things on. That's how cold the air conditioning is in here. Air conditioning works good. Old Wrestler said Wrath of Man was a decent Statham film. I don't think we haven't seen that. Yeah, we haven't seen that. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but everything that I've seen him in, I've always liked him. There's just something about him that's, I don't know. There's something kind of charming about him, you know?
Yep.
CB said, "Man, I love your channel." I'm not sure what that was in
I don't know what that
reference
means,
to, but thank you. You know, we try. Yeah, poor little Ariel back there. Hopefully her butt's not turning gray.
Let me go see.
He's gonna check out her butt.
See if I can lift her.
He's gonna bring her over here.
Bring her over here.
Are you gonna put her in your lap?
She's got her little G-string on.
She's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Aw, look at you. That's fucking hilarious. Speaking of butts, did we tell you guys? Poor little Pookie.
Yeah.
She had her little, you know how cats have like the little, and I think dogs have this too, but they have their little anal glands get all infected and swell up and stuff. She had that. Like a couple days ago, I came up I was walking down the hall, and I see her sitting in the hallway, and there's like a little thing, she's like licking her butt, and there's like a little puddle of blood on the carpet. And I was just kind of like, oh my god, what happened? Yeah, her little anal gland kind of exploded. She's alright, though.
Cason's hoping for a Conan movie. Conan is in the possession of like I think the Robert E. Howard Preservation Society. They own the license, and they said it's not going out to anybody in modern Hollywood. They said they will fuck it up. They said that they're going to have total control over the script. There's not going to be any more fucking Conan the Destroyer or any of that bullshit. It has to be like what Howard would have done. So, and the dudes that own it are fanatics.
Well, that's kind of what you want. I mean, and like I said, I kind of feel like, I know people piss and moan, but honestly, the shit that I've seen, like look at we would just watch Shogun the other day. And obviously whoever made that series was really passionate about getting everything right.
Yeah.
You know, so like all the historical details were correct, everything like that.
The
so
Japanese love the series.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like if it's more likely that you will get somebody, if somebody that gets hold of it is really into that story. Well, like I said, look what happened with Denis Villeneuve and Dune.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get somebody that's
right.
really passionate about that, they will do it correctly. You know what I mean? Which I don't think was a given back in the old days. And nowadays, like, you know, there's more platforms where you can do streaming, so you can do like a whole like 8-episode series instead of just trying to cram it into one movie.
What's that
or
French
whatever.
guy's name again? Denis what?
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, I bet you they would trust him with Conan.
Yeah, honestly, he would probably do a good job with that.
Yeah.
I also loved Blade Runner 2049. I thought that was fantastic. So, and he made that too. Yeah, Ira says poor Pookie. Yeah, she's all right now. The swelling went down. Like, we had to go in there. She was like not happy because we had to put her in the sink and like, you know, wash all her butt off, and then I have these like lavender wipes, and you had to like wipe everything up, and I have this like spray that's like an antibacterial or antimicrobial, so I had to keep spraying her butt, and she was just like and she was like getting all mad about it. But it's a little bit scabbed over, but it looks okay now, and she seems to be back to her little troublemaker self, so I guess she's feeling all right. But it was pretty scary there for a minute because I didn't really know what was going on at first. I just saw her sitting like in a little puddle of blood, and I was a little upset about it. But she seems like she's okay. But we'll keep an eye on her. But like I said, it's pretty common. But Beijing has had that happen at least 3 times. So.
Yeah, Beijing's been through that.
Yeah, she's been through it a couple, like at least 3 times, I think, maybe more.
Yeah,
but it's pretty it's pretty common in cats and I think in dogs too. It's like if they're not getting enough fiber in their diet. Like I give them fiber supplements, but it doesn't really like pumpkin powder and stuff. But she doesn't really like it, so I don't know if she's eating it or not. Yeah, Murder Hornet's talking about the humidity down there, so. He sounds like really drunk. He's like,
yeah,
adrenaline is a drug. Is it?
No.
Not really. I guess. I don't know. So what else do we want to talk about? Let's talk about something else. Let me get another drink too.
This is probably going to be the last one. We're almost out.
Well, obviously it's going to be the last one. Yeah, we're almost out of rum.
Okay.
We're almost out of rum. We didn't get any more today. Well, we had a lot left from Wednesday. We had like a huge bottle. But yeah, let's see. What else? I'm trying to think of like what else has been going on lately that we could talk about. But I'm kind of coming up empty. But yeah, I don't know. I know I felt so bad for Pookie. And like the other Cady, Bambi, I think she didn't know what was going on because we were like fussing over Pookie and she's like, why isn't everybody over here fussing over me? I don't understand. You know. Another thing, too, is that I try to feed them separately because when I put wet food down for Bambi, she'll be like, oh, thank you very much, and she'll eat it. But then I go in the other room and I put wet food down for Pookie, and then Bambi will run all the way down to that room and then start eating that food, too. And she's not fat or nothing. But she's like eating, and if she's eaten off Pookie's plate, Pookie's like, well, I'm not going to eat it now. So I have to keep, like, try to keep them separate, and it's, like, really annoying.
Gotta keep one separate.
The kitty food.
Oh, yeah.
Because I said Bambi eats she eats her food, and then she comes in and runs in and tries to eat Pookie's food, too. I don't get it. Zach said, I don't know what makes your voices so soothing, but y'all are putting me to sleep as we speak. I'm sorry. How old is Pookie? CB asked. She is...
5?
7?
That old? No, damn.
Well, wait. When did we got her in 2017?
Was it? Okay.
And she was a baby. Like
yeah,
she was
a couple weeks old. Yeah.
Maybe 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
Her eyes were still blue. So yeah. So I guess she's gonna be 7 this summer. I think because we got her around summertime. So yeah, she's 7 years old. And then our other cat, Bambi, is 2. We got her last August. She is also a Manx, but different coloring. She looks completely different, but she has like a slightly longer tail than Pookie, like because Pookie has this little bitty stump, but Bambi has one that's about that long.
She looks like a little bobcat, actually.
She does actually look like a bobcat. That's kind of what I call her, or like a little baby lynx.
Yeah.
She's real stripy, and she's kind of got longer legs. Like Pookie is very compact. She looks like a classic Manx.
Yeah.
Which are very round. She has a little round face, little round eyes, little round belly, little short legs, little stumpy tail. Whereas Bambi looks more like you said, like a bobcat, but with a short tail. Zach says, our dog is 14, and he's acting weird lately, breathing strangely. Vet gave us some liquid gababentine, is that what that is? To give him some. Yeah, I mean... It kind of just, it makes me so sad, like, when I think about, because I know, like, cats and dogs, they don't live that long. And you have to, like, go through this whole thing where, because I've been through a lot of shit where, because I've always had cats most of my life. And, you know, what do they live? Maybe 15, 20 years? And it's just kind of a bummer. And I kind of think about it sometimes, and especially I was thinking about it again because, you know, with the blood and everything, and I was kind of flipping out, and I was like, oh my God, if something happens to her, I don't just... Because we raised her from like a baby. She's like our kid.
Yeah. She thinks we're her parents.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure, we're both pretty sure, that Pookie thinks that she is a human baby and that Bambi is a cat.
Yeah.
Pookie doesn't, I don't think Pookie thinks she's a cat the same way that Bambi is a cat.
Right. She's like, that's a cat. I'm a baby.
Yeah.
I'm your daughter.
I'm
That's
pretty
the cat.
sure.
That's what she is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she thinks she's a human baby.
Yeah.
And she acts like a human toddler.
Yeah.
In the way that she manipulates. Maybe not even a toddler. Maybe like a little bit older.
She likes the other cat, but she sees the other cat as a cat.
Yeah, she's like, that's a cat. I'm a baby.
Yeah.
I'm a baby.
I'm a person.
I'm a person.
Yeah.
With fur.
Yeah, I think so.
It definitely does seem like that to me. Like the way that she interacts with us and the way that she interacts, like the way they interact with each other. I definitely do think that. But I don't know. But like I said, we talked about this before, like how animals are like a lot smarter than people give them credit for sure. Like, man, they both wanted to get in my closet the other day. The closet in here in the dressing room. They were both by the door just yelling and yelling. There's nothing in there. They just want to go in there and sit. I don't really want to let them go in there and like leave them unattended because they'll tear my boots up, because that's where my boots and stuff are. But they just cry and cry, so you have to like just let them sit in there, I guess. And then they get bored and come out after a while. And Pookie's always trying to run in the closet in our bedroom for whatever reason. She thinks she's being slick too. She'll go over to one end where nothing is. Then she's like, "What, Daddy? I'm just like sitting over here not doing anything, la la la." And then the second Tom turns his head, she's like, "Ha ha!" And then she runs over and starts tearing his boots up.
Yeah.
And she thinks we can't hear her.
But Bryce and Kaysen, the thing about Conan is that Arnold Schwarzenegger has been so infused. You know, his image has been intertwined with the Conan legend so much. They put another. Was that Momoa? Who was that dude that they tried to make the other Conan? It fucking blew. It wasn't his fault. It was just that story just was. That's not good. Conan was not really described as being that big in the books. He was real physically fit, but he wasn't that huge. And then the weird thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger being cast as Conan, it was actually based upon paintings of the guy that was doing the covers of the fucking Conan books. In the what was that guy's name? I got it fucking painted.
Who? Frank Frazetta.
Frank Frazetta. And Frank Frazetta was an artist, great artist, and he was a bodybuilder. Not a pro bodybuilder. He wasn't really on gear, but he got fucking pretty jacked himself. He was a bodybuilding or shooter, you know, and he was big into just mythic tales, you know. And that's how he drew Conan, how he painted him. And when Milius and Stone were getting together to make the first Conan movie, they were like, "Man, who looks like those paintings?" And they were like, "Well, that Arnold Schwarzenegger guy looks like that." So that's really how he got that job. The thing that wasn't that accurate, though, about the Conan movie, the first one, is that Valeria, even though I think that girl did a great job as Valeria, that's not the way that fucking she would have been drawn by shit. And I'm drunk now. And I forgot the guy's name. You just mentioned his name. What's his name again?
Frank Frazetta.
Frank Frazetta. Yeah. Frazetta. His women were voluptuous and muscular, huge thighs, big boobs, big ass on them, little bitty waists. That's probably how. You know, if Frazetta was doing the casting, he would have cast a woman like that. But women like that didn't exist back then. They do now. You see them all over Instagram. Some of those fitness girls, like Carrie June, Miss Carrie June. She's from Florida here. She's built like something out of Frank Frazetta. Big thighs, but it's all muscle. A little bitty waist. So, if you're trying to revive that movie, that character, there are the human resources out there. There are people out there that look like those Frazetta paintings if you wanted to go that way. Even though that's not the way Howard wrote them in the book. They didn't really write them that way. If I were to make that movie like it was that French guy, Denis is his name, right?
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis, yeah, if I was him, I would go with a Frank Frazetta motif through the whole movie.
That would look cool, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be good actors too, obviously.
Gotta be good actors, but I would go to the fitness, Instagram fitness people, the influencers, and find the fucking most jacked dude that could carry that role. And some chick like Carrie June and fucking dye her hair black. Be right out of Rosetta painting. But you gotta have a badass script. It's gotta be fucking tight. It's gotta be like out of one of the Conan books. And the acting is gonna have to be pretty good because in the books, Conan does a lot of speaking. He's not a strong silent type. He speaks. And he's fucking intellectual. He's a trained kind of like general, you know? And that's the way he was going to be portrayed in Milius's movies because remember, you're in the first Conan movie, you're only seeing the genesis of Conan. He was going to get more sophisticated as he went along. I would have loved to have a trilogy, a Milius trilogy. But the Dino De Laurentiis, his studio wouldn't hire Milius again. He wanted too much money. It was a mistake to do Conan the Destroyer. Conan the Destroyer was a step away from fucking Milius. Although some people, and they're right, they'll tell you that Conan the Destroyer was closer to the Marvel Conan comic books. Which, yeah, that's the way the comic books were. But Milius, I think, man, his version was better fitted to the screen.
Well, it's better as
days.
like a mythic,
Yeah.
serious story rather than like a more comic.
Milius wanted it to be like watching an opera, a Wagnerian fucking
Yeah,
opera.
I think that was absolutely the right way to go.
Yeah.
Don't try to make it funny or cheesy
No.
or anything like that. Well, and the thing about it too was that the 80s, man, there were so many fucking sword and sandal
Rip-offs
and shit like that. I mean, man, usually the Italians made some like Outlaw of Gore and all that kind of stuff. That was based on like a whole series of novels too, but they were decidedly less
when
good
Conan
than
hit,
the Conan movie.
every 2-bit fucking filmmaker tried to make a rip-off. And it fucked up the fucking genre bad.
Everybody got sick of watching that shit. I mean,
'Cause
and I get it, but
You're just going to see these fucking generic dudes running around in furs and shit and cheap costumes if it's not filmed right and it's not written right. It had to be a badass story. And you had to take your time with it. It couldn't be a fast story. It's a slower story. It has to have a deep symbolic meaning behind it. Like an opera.
I mean,
that's what works.
That's kind of the shitty thing too, is that, you know, obviously you can't begrudge people for wanting to like make some coin off something that was real popular. So obviously, if something real popular comes out, everybody's gonna make rip-offs of it, right? I mean, that's happened forever. But the shitty thing about it is that, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be allowed or anything like that, because obviously that'd be dumb. But the thing about it is that a lot of times, if enough of these shitty rip-offs happen, then it retroactively makes the OG, like the original one, like look bad by comparison.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing all these later ones that are really crappy, and then it's like people don't want to see the original because they think it's just more of the same or whatever. So that's kind of like a bummer when that happens too. Because man, there were a lot of really bad like sword and sandal epics
Casey
in the
says that he
80s.
didn't think Conan was that tall in the book. Well, Arnold isn't that tall. It's hard to nail down how tall Arnold actually is. I think he's about 6 feet, maybe 6'1". But if you look in the Conan the Barbarian, the very first movie, which is a fucking masterpiece, people. If you've never seen that movie, you gotta see it. Don't worry about Conan the Destroyer, the second one. Don't worry.
It's not that great.
It's not that great. Just the first one, and it's a great standalone movie. There are guys that are much bigger than him in there. They'll show him standing side by side. Milius got some of the biggest fucking pro athletes he could get to be in that movie. Thulsa Doom's henchmen are fucking huge. Standing next to, like his main two henchmen, the dude with the fucking warhammer that broke down the column, and the other guy. I think those were football players, if I remember correctly. Pro football players, or they had that in their past. And those dudes are like 6'6", man. I think one of them was like 6'8". He's a fucking giant. You know, Arnold wasn't that big, and size wise, tallness wise, he was just in that era. Arnold was just fucking juicy. He was He had very good proportions. Arnold's signature fucking deal was his fucking waist. He had what we call in the bodybuilding fucking scene V-taper. He had a tiny fucking waist and real broad shoulders. He didn't have a six-pack, though. He had like a four-pack. He still would win all those championships, though. He had a really good fucking V-taper, big shoulders, big arms, and a nice chest. His legs, by today's standards, weren't that big, really. Today, they got dudes that are just fucking just big everywhere, you know. But for his day, he was fucking what you would call aesthetic. He was aesthetic. Because in bodybuilding, you don't want to say dude was fucking gorgeous, because then that might sound gay. So
even though that's exactly what they are saying.
Yeah, motherfucker was gorgeous. He looked like a fucking hood ornament on a car or something. That's what he looked like. He had very good proportions.
That makes me laugh so much that like
they call it aesthetic.
That they have to like come up with a whole different
other words
language.
Yeah,
like because they don't want to sound
that motherfucker was gorgeous. Gay. Yeah.
That is so funny to me.
Yeah,
that will never not be funny to me. I'm like, oh my god,
aesthetic.
The egos are so fragile. It's
and
just,
he also
it's
had,
so funny.
He also had a character. He was an asshole. A lot of guys were jealous. He was very stuck up around other bodybuilders, but he was funny. He was a fucking joker, too. And he brought, in the 70s and the 80s, he brought bodybuilding into the mainstream. Because he has star power. So did Lou Ferrigno, though. And he was deaf.
I always kind of liked Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
I used to love the Hulk show when I was a kid. I used to watch that all the time.
Lou Ferrigno was bigger. Lou Ferrigno was fucking... He ended up being much bigger than fucking Arnold. Lou was great, too. But the other dudes like Zane, Frank Zane, I think his name is Frank. He trained Stallone to get fucking ripped as fuck for fucking Rambo. It's either Rambo 2 or Rambo 3. I remember he was just fucking shredded. And that's because he was fucking hanging out with Frank Zane. Now Frank Zane claimed that he didn't use any kind of anabolic assistance. Whatever. Okay. I know fucking Stallone did. Stallone was on all kinds of shit. Okay. Stallone wasn't that much bigger than me. He's a bantamweight. He's probably maybe 2 inches, maybe an inch taller, 2 inches. But Stallone was the shit too. And then a big war broke out between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone to who had the best movies and who was the best Hollywood star. It was Sylvester Stallone.
I mean, I don't think anyone's going to argue about
Stallone,
that.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone could act, he could write, and he could direct. He could even produce. All right, he was good, real good.
Yeah, he's multi-talented.
And Sly is the shit to this day. He's fucking awesome. He's living in Florida now, from what I understand. So he's gonna make movies from here.
Yeah, Heidezer said, I think Arnold is under 6 feet, and said, have you ever seen the photo of Wilt Chamberlain and Arnold together? Arnold looked like a midget. But Tammy says Arnold is 6'2".
Here's the thing.
Well, and Wilt Chamberlain was, what, 7'6" or some shit like that? He was huge.
You go online and you start fucking Googling how tall is this celebrity and that celebrity. It's propaganda. They're fucking lying.
They're probably all shorter.
You're never going to find out how tall Tom Cruise is.
Well, right. Tom Cruise in particular, because he seems real sensitive about that.
Tom Cruise is probably 5'7".
He's probably your height, I would imagine.
I think he's 5'7" in his magic shoes. All right. Probably walking around, he's probably 5'6", 5'5". Which, that's not that's a short guy, but that's not a fucking unreasonably short dude.
No,
he's
that's
in
just,
fucking good
that's
shape.
Taller than me.
Yeah. There's a lot of women that, fucking a lot shorter than him. It's just that when you see photographs of him with like his ex-wives or his wives, they look taller because they're in heels and he isn't. Okay, so they're probably shorter than he is, but I think he's probably 5'6", maybe 5'5".
Like I said, I always thought that was so dumb though that dudes are like so.
And when he was at his zenith, I don't know I think he was on gear. He's on test at least. He had to be. That motherfucker would probably be thinking, well, I'm going to use my OT powers through Scientology to keep myself young. Because they think they can do that. But I think fucking Tom probably knows better.
OT powers, y'all.
My operating thetan powers to keep my testosterone level high. Yeah.
You're gonna get old like the rest of us, buddy.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start injecting that shit.
I hate to tell you.
And looking at his body mass index, I say he's probably at least on test. You know, but man, during some of those Mission Impossible movies, he was fucking looking good. He's in real good shape.
I feel like he's had some work done on his face because it looks a little strange.
He's probably had his jaw tightened up a little bit.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. His face looks a little... And I kind of feel like in some of the more recent movies we've seen him, his face looks slightly... I don't want to say bloated, but looks a little puffy. He looks a little puffy.
Well, he's on gear.
Yeah, so it might be that.
And he's probably had some nips and some tucks here and there, which kind of makes him look a little... And he's older than you think he is. He's older than he looks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he looks good for his age.
Yeah. He's what? 60-something?
He's got to be in his 60s by now, right?
Yeah.
Tammy says, Google says Cruz is 5'7", so he's got to be shorter.
Oh, yeah, he's 5'5" at least then. If they say he's 5'7", he's 5'5".
Because you're 5'6".
I'm 5'6". He's probably shorter than me.
Which, yeah. He's probably taller than I am, but probably not by much.
Yeah.
I'm about 5'3".
Yeah, he's probably an inch shorter than me.
Bryce says, no way Tom Cruise thinks he has powers. I don't know. I think he actually...
Are you fucking crazy? He's a Scientologist.
He's a Scientologist. They do actually think they have those powers.
Yeah. OT
And
powers.
I'm pretty sure that Tom Cruise in particular,
Yeah.
because he didn't get the shit end of Scientology, like a lot of the kind of hoi polloi members did, he gets his ass kissed all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that he probably absolutely does think that he has those powers.
Yeah. You just go look. He's an OT8, isn't he? OT8?
Oh, I don't even remember what level he's at.
I think he's an 8. An OT8 or... I think he's an OT8, which I think is their highest level. It's either OT8 or OT9.
Until they come up with some new ones to get more money out of people.
Yeah, but LRH was L. Ron Hubbard was the source, though, and he died, so he never wrote the last level. But no, you're tripping. Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. He believes in Scientology. He believes he has the powers of an operating thetan at fucking OT8. Operating level.
Because he's been in it a long time.
Right, yeah. And in that level, they can actually reverse time. Where if something happens, like you stub your toe, you can use your powers to reverse time, all right, and not stub your toe next time. Therefore, you stubbed your toe, but you didn't know you stubbed your toe because you reversed it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of like how, Superman, reversed the world, to keep Lois Lane from dying.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that,
Right.
but you're not, aware of it.
So when you're an OT8 or OT7, I don't remember which one it was, you gain the ability to fucking reverse time, so if something bad happens, you can go back and redo it. And some of them get pissed off if an accident happens, like if they do stub their toe. It's like, oh shit, why didn't I reverse time? Why didn't that happen? Why did the bad thing happen to me? Well, you're going to have to fucking go on the E-meter.
And figure out why that happened.
Figure out why that didn't happen.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
You sinned somehow. Basically what they call it. You're out ethics.
Yeah, you're out ethics.
You're something like that.
That's
Something
what they would
happened to you. We got to get you back operating. You got to keep Scientology working. So therefore it won't happen again. Okay.
Yeah.
They've got it all figured out.
Bryce says, damn, I thought Scientology was just like every other church. Oh,
No.
Oh, boy.
No. We've done whole shows on it. No.
I used to live in Clearwater, and I worked for a company that was run by Scientologists. And, yeah, there's some special people. Let's
believe that they can read minds.
They believe all kinds of crazy shit. It's absolutely a cult. It's absolutely a cult.
Once you get to a certain level, they believe that you can read minds. You can reverse the space-time continuum, so bad things don't happen to you. You can cure all diseases inside yourself.
Yep.
You won't need glasses.
Yep.
You won't need any kind of... So, I don't know how Tom deals with age and trying to make movies, because he should be on test and working out and do steroids, and he'd fucking hold together a lot longer. I'm looking at him and I'm saying, yeah, that's not natural. Okay.
But I wonder, though, how he justifies... Because obviously he's had shit done, right?
Yeah.
So how do they justify it? Because in Scientology parlance, you shouldn't need any of that stuff.
You shouldn't ever die, actually, my understanding.
Yeah.
If everything was running perfectly, you shouldn't age
Well,
or die.
LRH didn't really die.
Yeah,
he just dropped his body.
That's what they called it. He moved to the next universe to do more work.
Yeah.
And that he's coming back.
Yeah.
They've got his fucking room all ready for him to come back, and anyone got his cigarettes laid out and everything.
It's a whole thing.
He like cool cigarettes.
Like I said, I'm as atheist as they come. All religions are crazy to me, but honestly, kind of Scientology is, it's up there. They have some crazy fucking...
Yeah.
And I worked with them, too, so I had to interact with them, like, day to day. Like, the kind of lower level, like, Scientologists and stuff like that. Wow. Those people are really, not right. They're really not right. And it's kind of unsettling. Well, like I said, the thing about it, like, the company I used to work at in Clearwater, a lot of the people that worked there were young. They were teenagers and stuff. Because Scientology, they'll put you to work, when you're a kid. They don't give a shit. Because they don't really see a distinction between kids and adults. At least as far as working is concerned. It's not like a sexual thing or anything. But yeah, because you're like an old soul or whatever. I don't really even know what they're talking about. But yeah, so some of the people that worked there were like 16, 17 years old. And they had gone to Scientology schools because they have those. And so they had never interacted with, and I know this is a racist term in the UK, but WOGs, that's what they call non-Scientologists. Like I said, I know that's a racist term in the UK. But that's what they call non-Scientologists. So a lot of them had never interacted with normal people before. So, and one really unsettling thing they do, it's called, what is it called when they match your quote-unquote tone? What's that shit called? They have a whole language of their own,
Tone
too.
scale.
Tone scale, thank you.
Tone scale.
And what they'll do is when they talk to somebody that's not a Scientologist, they try to match whatever energy you're giving off. And so they'll stare at you like real like unsettled. So you're talking to them like you would talk to a normal person, and then they're just like looking at you like this, like they're trying to like figure shit out. And it's just like, it's really disquieting. I will say that. Because they're trying to like figure out how to relate to you, because they're kind of robotic a little bit. I found them very robotic.
One of the best Scientologists to listen to learn about the cult and what they believe is a dude, I think his name is Jesse Prince. I think it was Jesse Prince. And he was like one of the only black guys in Scientology. And he ended up
because it's pretty white, that cult.
Yeah, it's real white. He ended up being kind of like their version of the Grand Inquisitor. He'd live on the fucking bases and shit, because they're set up like a military base. And he would go through everybody's auditing, that's where you're confessing your sins on a lie detector test in order to fucking exorcise alien demons that have attached to your soul. That's basically what it is.
Oh, and also they record everything and write everything down, so if you ever leave, they can blackmail you.
Yeah, they can blackmail you. Prince knew everything about Scientology and how it worked. He knew L. Ron Hubbard. He had a really good career in the cult before he left. He had an out-of-body experience when he was young. And the way he described it was like, yeah, that's it. Same thing happened to me. He had an out-of-body experience. And that's what led him to join the cult. Because they promised him that they knew how to do that They knew how to do that, and that they could give him even better. Like telekinesis, the ability to read minds. It's Jedi school, basically.
That's what they tell you anyway. They charge you thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and it's paramilitary, L. Ron Hubbard was a Navy admiral. Or was he a captain? I think he was an admiral. He had commanded
something
a
like
ship.
that. Well, he wasn't as high up as he told everybody, but yeah.
He had command of a ship for a while.
Until he fucked it up.
In World War II. And it was a minor ship. He wasn't really involved in anything.
Nah.
And so Scientology's kind of run like the military. It has a paramilitary organization, especially the Sea Organization, or the Sea Org. So I don't think he was in the Sea Org. I think Jesse was what's called staff, which was, but he was very high-ranking staff, and he was the guy who trained all the auditors. In other words, the exorcists. He was like the head exorcist.
The father confessor.
Yeah, father confessor. He knew dirt on everybody. Well, if you listen to interviews with him, he's a real cool dude. Very intelligent guy, real soft-spoken. He knows everything about Scientology and just says it doesn't work.
Well, obviously.
He says this training, as I got more into this, I realized that this training is exactly the opposite of what you would need to induce out-of-body experiences and psychic phenomena in a person. That this is the opposite. You don't need all that structure and discipline. It's actually the opposite. It's release. And that's what it is. I've done it. And it's subconscious. It's not from the conscious mind. You can't use the conscious mind to force the unconscious mind to
do shit.
To do psychic phenomena.
Sure.
Your soul's doing it, not your mind. And you can't do it at will. It runs you. You don't run it. Which people aren't really used to that. That's why I'm scared of it. Because it's not all that good.
Because you can't control it.
I can't control it. It controls you. You don't control it. Right.
But they are trying to control it.
They're trying to,
But like you said, you can't really do that.
It's superior to you. That element of you is better than you are. Your conscious mind knows more about you. Anyway, his interviews are on a channel called Surviving Scientology on YouTube.
That's a good channel, by the way.
Really good channel. And just look up Jesse Prince. And he's got a couple shows on there.
Because I remember I told you that I had lived in Clearwater and that I worked for Scientologists and how fucking crazy it was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even find out. I had heard of them, when I started working there. Because they said when I first started working there, we're Scientologists. We're not allowed by law to, try and convert you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, whatever. I just need a fucking job. You know what I mean? But then, I worked there for, 8 months. And after that, I was just I have to get the fuck out of here. These people are fucking crazy. Not everybody that worked there was Scientologists, but a lot of them were. Yeah. So it's I got the fuck out of there. I had to move out of Clearwater because I couldn't take it anymore. I was starting to get, fucking paranoid and shit because I don't know. It's a whole thing. They fuck with your head. So I left, and then, so we started talking about it, and I told him about it, and he got really interested in it. So then we started watching all these videos on YouTube, and it was really only after I left where I used to work. I don't remember if we ever did a show about Lisa McPherson, very famous woman that died in their care. She was the roommate of the sales manager where I used to work. It happened in Clearwater. So after I left, I started getting all into this because some of the people that worked at the company where I worked had testified at the trial, the negligent homicide trial that they had about her. And so I was like, I got to find out about this kind of shit. Because some of the non-Scientologists, they were like, after you get out of here, read up on this shit. It's it's terrifying. So it's so I did. And I was like, holy fucking crap. I can't believe I was involved in that. And so I started telling him about it, and we got super into it. So back in the old days of the show, we had the Angry Gay Pope on.
Yeah, he knew all about him. He's a protester.
He's a protester.
He would go to all their fucking shit and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go back to our old show. You'll hear him. I think he was on twice, wasn't
he? Maybe 3 times.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's funny as hell. And and so it was this whole thing, but I'm fascinated by cults because I'm fascinated by how people get sucked into something so obviously stupid. Especially I don't shit on people that were born into it because they don't know any different. Because a lot of people were born. Scientology, they have 2 or 3 generations, right, of people that were born there, and they have their own schools, they have their own everything. So some people are. Some people that I worked with that were teenagers or in their 20s, they didn't know anyone that wasn't a Scientologist. Their family was Scientologists. They went to Scientology schools. They didn't really have any interaction with the outside world at all, which kind of blew my mind a little bit.
American military says that LRH or L. Ron Hubbard was a lieutenant. No, he was not a lieutenant. He was higher ranked than that because he was in charge of a ship. In charge of a ship that it was a sub-hunting ship. Because he claimed to have fucking dropped some mines and shot at a German sub somewhere, I think it might have been Gulf of Mexico or something. But they turned out, I think they got awards, but I think, if I remember correctly, I think they got awards, didn't they? For that.
I don't remember.
But it was probably not.
He fucked something up. I remember that. Like, he
up
shot
later
at some people he shouldn't have shot at.
Yeah.
And he got reprimanded. That's all I can remember.
He got reprimanded, and his career, and the war was ending, and his career was kind of over. They were decommissioning a shit ton of dudes. The Navy wasn't having to be as big as it was, but he was at least a captain. Because he was in command of a ship.
Larry said,
not a little ship. It was a pretty big sized ship, like a fucking destroyer.
Larry says Scientology was too weird for Charlie Manson. That says a lot. Yeah, exactly. High Desert said, I think he stole most of his stuff from Jack Parsons. Yeah, they all hung out together around that time period. And
I think it was a lot of it was modeled after Aleister Crowley.
That too. There was a lot of crossover.
Aleister Crowley had a side gig called that I have coined. It's a job, all right, and it's a job that I call making a motherfucker wizard.
Yeah.
For
cash.
Yeah, it's where you convince some dude that you can make him a wizard if you pay enough money and you go through these levels. And going through levels was a fucking Crowley concept. And Parsons and fucking LRH, they knew all about Crowley. So I think that's where they got the going through levels ideas. Now, evidently, he met Anton LaVey, too, or Anton LaVey ran across him at some point.
I think they hung out in the same circles.
Yeah. But at least Anton wasn't trying to make a motherfucker a wizard, for money.
Yeah, look, it's like, I don't begrudge people making money, but shit like this, shit like Scientology is just so obviously a grift that I don't really understand why people even
there's a lot of things that are like that in society.
Well, yeah, I know that.
A lot of corporations are cult-like.
Sure.
And use a lot of the same techniques. It's just that people want to believe in something. Well, Scientologists all says the same thing. When they say, why'd you join Scientology? They always say, because I wanted to help. I want to help out. I want to help people. I want to save the world. And you just gotta fucking laugh. Like, you're so egotistical to think that you can fucking save
one person
you can save the fucking world.
Can save the world?
This world doesn't want your saving. This is not the kind of place where you just show up,
people
you
live on the world,
out. Right? Yeah. The only way if you are hell bent on improving this place and saving the world, you're gonna have to murder millions of people because they're gonna want to stop you because your changes are gonna fuck up their grift and they're gonna fight you to the death. All right. So you're going to have to kill them. That's why all these maniacs, fucking Hitler, Stalin, and all the Genghis Khan, they murdered all those people because they had to. That was the only way they could make the world the way they wanted it. They all thought they were trying to save shit and help shit.
Help shit be like they wanted it.
Like they wanted it to be. Yeah, when people fight you, so you have to kill them. Yeah. And people don't realize that. So if you show up with all this, I'm trying to save the world. Ultimately, that means you're willing to murder millions of people because they don't want you to save it. They like it the way it is.
Well, and like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Right,
it's just kind of like, look, if you want to do good in the world, awesome.
Yeah.
But do good, like, locally.
Or in your sphere. Yeah.
You know, that's about all you can do. It's just one person. It's just, but if everybody did that, then the world in aggregate would probably be better. But one fucking person thinking they're going to, I want to do this because I'm going to save the world, you have to watch that person. Yeah. Because that's a little bit of a narcissistic.
The Scientology concept of saving the world is, first of all, taking over the world's governments.
Making everybody Scientologists is what they're trying to do.
Making everybody a Scientologist.
Because they think they're correct.
They call that clearing the planet, which just means clearing you of all your fucking evil sins. Okay?
Yeah.
And then they're going to start restructuring shit. If you are a fucking a suppressive person, in other words, a person who doesn't believe in Scientology, you're going to be killed.
Yeah.
Because they don't even see you as a human. They see you as something, an evil force.
Like I said, they call them wogs.
Wogs, yeah.
Which, like I said, in the UK is a very racist term.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the thing. Anybody... And the thing is, I've hung out with enough Scientologists, like I said, through my old job and everything like that. I don't want any part of any world that those motherfuckers are running. Absolutely not. I would jump into a fucking pit of lava before I would let that happen. I don't want any part of it. Well, the thing about it is that I have a hard time with like any kind of hierarchical or authoritarian kind of. I don't like anything like that. So the minute you come at me with like all these like ranks and all that other kind of shit, I'm like, no thanks. I don't really want to be involved in any of that kind of stuff. And they are all about that. All about that.
American military one came back and said that Wikipedia says he was a lieutenant.
High Desert said that, yeah.
Yeah. And that maybe back then a lieutenant in the Navy could do more than what they do. Maybe. The Scientology would never say he was a lieutenant. They would tell you he was at least a captain or an admiral.
Well, they talk about him like they talk about like Kim Jong-il or some kind of shit like that, where he's like some magical being.
Yeah. So
like I said, he didn't die. He dropped his body.
Right. Yeah.
Even though he absolutely died.
I think Scientology claims that he was a captain or an admiral.
Yeah. The way they talk about him is just like obviously like just verbal fellatio.
From what I remember, it was confirmed that he was in command of a ship, though.
Which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But
and
the whole
was
thing
involved in a little thing. They shot at what they thought was a German submarine.
Yeah. It's just so funny to me that they're so adamant that like it's not a cult when it's very, very clearly a cult.
Oh yeah.
I mean, very clearly.
Yeah, it's a religious cult.
It's like it's pretty much the textbook definition.
Yeah.
But you know. Bryce says, "Are you familiar with parapsychology?" Of course we are. We've done a lot of shows about that. They talk about some of the stuff you're talking about, high level stuff. Yeah, we've done several shows about poltergeist activity, out of body experiences, stuff like that. Because Tom's had all of that kind of stuff happen. So we've done a lot of shows about that. We've done some shows about other kind of parapsychological topics, like the skull experiment and things like that. That was a while back that we did that. Camp Guy said a Grand Dragon High Wizard Klaxon Kleagle or something like that. Yeah, it's just the thing that freaked me out the most, I think, about Scientologists. They have their own lingo, and I mean, which is a pretty common thing, I guess, with cults, because it's an in-group, out-group thing. So they always kind of, well, we're the insiders, so we know what we mean. They have acronyms for everything. They have words for things which have words in the normal world, but they have to have their own word for it for some reason, which just irritated the piss out of me when I worked there. Because when I worked at this place, the first half hour of every day, from 8 to 8:30 or 8:30 to 9, I can't remember, like the first half hour that you got there, you went into the classroom and you had to do classes, and it was all L. Ron Hubbard's business stuff, because he was obviously the biggest genius that ever lived, and he knew more about running businesses than anybody. And like, I'm reading this stuff and I'm just like, this dude is insane. Yeah. Like, pretty sure undiagnosed mental illness going on there somewhere. And so I was trying to be cute, and because I don't have any patience for this kind of stuff, so I was writing like super snarky like essays and stuff about, because I knew what they wanted me to say, but I'm like, I'm not saying that. So
High Desert said Genghis Khan just wanted loot. No, you're mistaken. You're confusing him with Attila the Hun and the people that were trying to get money out of the Romans. Genghis Khan did a lot of other stuff. He conducted a lot of foreign diplomacy and was trying to set up basically a trade empire through a bunch of people that he fucking kind of annexed, really. He was annexing people's cities. If you fucked with him or defied him, though, he'd just wipe out the whole fucking city. They were also kind of cannibals. They had women following them around. And when they ran out of food, they'd eat those women. Fucking... reportedly, I don't know how true that is, but I think probably true. They ate the camp followers.
That's nice. Yeah, Camp Guy said that movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix was good. The Master. Yeah, that was really good. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's the way he was.
It is. Yeah, they don't use his name because they're probably because Scientologists are very, very litigious.
Yeah.
You say something bad about them, they will sue the fuck out of you.
Yeah. Actually,
and they'll start a website talking about how you're a PDF file and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they'll
do that also.
The thing is about fucking LRH, and that's the acronyms that they use. I use it. That's L. Ron Hubbard. As far as cult leaders go, he was a good one. He was a good one.
If there is such a thing.
Oh yeah.
On the spectrum of cult leaders, which are all bad, but you know.
Yeah.
He was the least terrible.
I think he thought he was doing a
although it got like exponentially worse once Miscavige took over.
Yeah.
Because that dude, he's a piece of shit, that guy.
L. Ron Hubbard didn't abuse women.
As far as we know.
Everybody who knew him, even some of those young cabin girls that he had, said he wasn't a horn dog.
Which I think is probably the only
That's
cult.
That's a weird thing. Yeah.
It's a horrible abusive cult. They take all your money. They beat the shit out of you. They do child labor.
Not in LRH's time.
But I'm just saying that a lot of this stuff happened later. Yeah. But this is kind of one of the only cults that wasn't formed for the express purpose of
fucking young girls.
Of sexually exploiting.
Yeah.
Teenage girls.
Yeah, Scientology wasn't like that. And during the time that L. Ron Hubbard was running the cult, it was run pretty square.
Still crazy, though.
Yeah, they took people's money selling these crazy trading packages. But in my mind, you're a rube. They're selling you what you wanted, which is kind of like fantasy, if you ask me.
Yeah. And it's kind of the same thing with self-help kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's the same kind of grift, I guess.
The cult loved him. He was a friendly guy and would tell stories, and even Prince, fucking Jesse Prince, who left the cult, he said no, he'd met him a few times, but it was usually he would just sit up there and fucking tell stories with his fucked up teeth. He had fucking bad teeth, green and shit,
that weird
and
fish
real
mouth.
long fingernails and shit. And at the time that he's talking about, because he was getting old at that time, he said he looked like Colonel Sanders. And but everybody liked him. He'd sit up there and fucking tell stories about what was happening on other planets and fucking different empires, because he was a science fiction writer.
Yeah.
So he's fucking seeing in his mind all these fucking galactic empires, and people would be down there tripping out listening to his fucking stories, thinking like it was real, taking him on a whole journey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was okay. But he was, as far as cult leaders go, a pretty good one. Right underneath him, I'd probably put Reverend Moon. Reverend Moon's problem was disconnection, where if you left the church, you couldn't talk to them, so they'd banish people.
They do that in Scientology.
They do it in Scientology too, but I don't think they did that during fucking L. Ron Hubbard's time. Or maybe towards the end of his time, maybe.
I think it did start toward the end of his time.
The end of his time.
That might have been one of the ones. What did they call the things that he put out? I don't remember. They had a word for it. They have a word for it. They have a word for everything.
The thing with L. Ron Hubbard is that towards the end of L. Ron Hubbard's time, he started to lose his mind.
Yeah.
Definitely going crazy. He thought the CIA and he thought the FBI was real interested in him, and they were out to get him. So he had cult members infiltrate the FBI. It's the only organization that infiltrated the FBI.
Like, they didn't care before that, but then when he infiltrated, we're like, oh, well, maybe we should pay attention to this guy, because they didn't give a shit before he did that. But
no, he thought they were after him.
Ironically,
he was real paranoid.
They only cared after he tried to infiltrate them.
It was called Operation Snow White.
Yep.
And of any cult that threatened the federal government the most, it would have been Scientology.
Oh, yeah.
They also threatened their way into tax-exempt status by they had fucking thousands of people harassing judges over the phone.
Yeah.
And in person.
Like, it was a long-time campaign.
Long-time campaign, yeah. When the cult was strong, man, and if you came up against them, they'd drive you fucking crazy. They'd break your will. Yeah.
They still use a lot of... I mean, they're a lot weaker than they used to be, but that's a lot of the tactics they would use. They would sue the shit out of you. They would...
harass you at your house.
They would harass you at your house. They would, because they had their little cult followers and stuff, and they would, like, sit in front of your lawn and shit like that. And they knew all the laws, so they knew how to, like, get away with it without getting arrested. They'd set up websites saying, like, smearing you with various things, usually that you were, like I said, like a PDF file or or something. They would, like, smear your character somehow. They just made shit up.
I've talked a lot of shit on the show over the years, man, but I know what I'm talking about. I've done the research and I did a lot of my own personal experiences in the fucking military and the contracting world and shit. If you were to crossbreed Scientology and the Mexican fucking mob and put it together, they would be an unbeatable force. They would slowly take over a country.
Don't give them any ideas.
Tactics. If Scientology was actually violent, like the Mexican mob, they would have won. They would have taken over.
They probably would have.
Hell yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. That's what would have happened. But something that vicious and that ruthless hasn't emerged yet. Although, man, as Western civilization starts fucking kind of falling apart, I kind of picture something like that happening.
Well,
and it would probably start off as the Mexican mob, mutating into something that was more ambitious, learning from cults. Because what's funny is that the intelligence agencies throughout the world use cults as a tool. They know all about them. Even in Argentina, Juan Perón, he used a German cult of ex-Nazis to torture people. And they were like, part of that weird cult leader, he was a Christian guy who was trying to keep kids from going into puberty. Weird. Because to go into puberty would mean that you would be in a state of sin. So he was doing weird shit with kids and shit, and he was torturing people for fucking Juan Perón. Because they had a cult compound. And you could trust them, they wouldn't talk. They had an agreement.
I mean, you get a cult compound, what else are you going to do? Right?
Yeah.
Start doing culty shit.
Yeah, weird shit.
Well, like I said, but I think that's why, in some ways, it's better that a lot of people now are aware of Scientology and other kind of cults and the methods that they use, because they all use pretty much the same methods. And honestly, if you're aware of them, then it's a lot easier to resist them. You know? Like I said, I'm not a real big joiner in anything, and I'm not real big on hierarchies or authoritarian anything, so it's like cult shit has never appealed to me. So I get why some people, why that would be appealing to them, like if they are maybe rootless in life or they need a purpose or something like that. So I can see how people get sucked into it, but I don't know, just nothing about it seems appealing to me at all. So I don't know. I've always been fascinated by why people get sucked into them, though, because I don't think it would happen to me.
I think one of the main factors is that there are some people seem to be just genetically have a genetic disposition for religious belief.
Well, it's a personality type.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just don't have that. So
yeah.
Intellectually I understand, but I can't relate because I don't feel like that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've been an atheist for as long as I can remember, and it doesn't make me sad, or it doesn't make me feel like I'm missing something, or it's nothing like that. I don't really understand when people say that, because even for a while, like, because I used to go to like a lot of atheist forums and stuff, and there was a small percentage of them that were like, oh, well, let's all get together at the Universalist, whatever they call it, like church or whatever, because they still wanted to do that type of thing, even though they didn't believe in that. And it's just like, I don't understand that at all.
Bryce, you don't have to read up on Scientology. Just go on Surviving Scientology and fucking listen to the shows. It's run by Karen de la Carriere. She was like one of the grand priestesses of fucking...
Yeah, she was like high up for a long time before she got out.
And just...
there's horrifying fucking stories. Horrifying stories.
Just listen to the guests that knew Hubbard. You know what I mean? Or had met him. The old ones that are on there. I would start with fucking Prince. Prince, yeah. Fucking, what was his first name? I got a name. Jesse Prince. He knew him. Who else knew him that talks about him a lot?
Who's that guy that was on the show with what's her name?
Yeah. What was that guy's name? Mark.
I'll think of it in a second.
But there's just go on Surviving Scientology. And go back into some of the real old shows. And you can just sit back with your headphones on while you're sleeping and just listen.
Leah Remini is who I was thinking of. Leah Remini, the show that she did, is great, by the way.
Mike Rinder.
Mike Rinder, that's
Mike Rinder.
Thank you.
He knows a lot about it. Mike Rinder.
That's a great show, too, with the two of them.
And he's on Surviving Scientology.
Because she used to be in it. She was, like, real high up.
Mike Rinder.
She knew Miscavige. She knew Shelley Miscavige, who was still missing, as far as we know.
Yeah.
All kind of fascinating. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
She's at one of the bases. She's alive.
Yeah, Tammy says Leah Remini has a great series on. Yeah, Leaving Scientology. That was the name of it. Yeah. But I mean, you might want to start with that. Like Bryce, if you don't know anything about Scientology, that might be a good thing to start with if you can see that in New Zealand. I don't remember how many seasons it was, but it's like a documentary series. Leah Remini, she's, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's like a big actress over here. She was on like a really famous sitcom, and she was in Scientology for a long time, and she left, and she went scorched earth, and she was just gonna come out and say like all the fucked up shit that happened in there, And more power to her, to be honest, because that shit is just not okay. It's not okay.
Well, it is almost 11. I don't know about you, but I'm starving.
Yeah, me too.
Let me make us something to eat. I got more of that curry down there.
Yeah?
Or I can make something else.
You said we had potato salad and...
Got potato salad. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else we can eat with that, but...
I can work something out.
Yeah, we'll find something. Yeah, it is almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right. So, hopefully you guys had a good time this evening. Why'd you unplug?
Oh, shit. Wrong one.
Yeah, you unplugged my...
Sorry.
I knew that was going to happen.
What was it?
My laptop.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
It is power, though.
So, hopefully you guys are still there. Because he unplugged my laptop, I think, because it went all dark. But yeah, so thanks everybody for dropping by. Thanks for your super chats this evening. Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday talking about Django Unchained. So hopefully you guys can join us for that too. Xanada sent us that movie, so we're going to watch it this weekend and talk about it on Monday. But yeah, have a good weekend, you guys. And we'll see you guys again on Monday night. Good night.